Chapter 557. When Fong Ping challenged Toman, the other parties were gloating. One of them was a rank 7, and the other was a top-notch rank 6 powerhouse. No matter who was eliminated, they were happy to see it happen. After all, they were not his own people. Who knew what they were thinking when they entered the Forbidden Zone? Toman was still fine. A rank 7 entering was not moving together with them. However, if the rank 6 Fong Ping really went in with them, it would be hard to predict what his next step would be. He was a person who did not abide by the rules. Du Hong and the others were all experts of the military. In fact, they followed the rules and were easy to deal with. On the other hand, Fong Ping was temperamental and difficult to communicate with. Around the arena, Minister Wang watched as the two of them walked towards the central area. He glanced at Li Daong and hesitated to speak. Li Daong nodded slightly and said, "When the time comes, admit defeat for him. A rank 6 against a rank 7. A middle-rank martial artist against a high-rank martial artist." Not to say that it had never happened since ancient times, but it was extremely rare. Li Chongqing killed a rank 8 with one slash. That time, it was almost certain that he would die. Also, Zhang Dingnan and the others were delaying the other party, giving Li Chongqing a chance. It was too difficult for Fong Ping to defeat a rank 7 in this situation without anyone holding him back. Hearing Li Daong's words, Minister Wang heaved a sigh of relief. In this way, even if they lost their spot, they wouldn't lose their lives. Central Region. Fong Ping exhaled softly. This was the first time he had truly fought against a rank 7 powerhouse. He might have said that he was powerful, but when it came to actual combat, he had no idea how things would turn out. Furthermore, the other party definitely had a divine weapon. Of course, rank 7 martial artists could already activate the Sanjiao Gate to nurture a divine weapon, unlike rank SXS who still needed to carry it on their bodies. He did not know what kind of divine weapon Big Beard was. Yes, that was for sure. Big Beard, don't ever admit defeat later. If you admit defeat in a fight between a rank 7 and a rank 6, then you'll be a rank 7 for nothing. You won't be able to raise your head in this lifetime. Not only that, I don't know if you foreigners have the heart of martial arts or the path of invincibility. If he can't take the stimulation and has a mental breakdown, he'll be done for. Tuoman closed his eyes and lowered his head. A moment later, he said slowly, "General, you are too obsessed with victory." "Ridiculous," Fong Ping said loudly. "Martial arts must be fought for. If they were to fight, then there would naturally be a victor and a loser. Is this how the ancient Buddhist sacred land teaches you? If you don't care about winning or losing, why did you come to participate in the competition? What a joke." Toman did not say anything more. He said softly, "General, rank 6. The competition will begin with the general. Then I won't stand on ceremony." At this moment, Fong Ping was also holding a divine weapon broadsword, borrowing it from someone. His chaos-vanquishing saber was already on the verge of shattering. If he fought against a rank 7 martial artist, it would only shatter in an instant. As soon as Fong Ping's voice fell, the saber sliced through the void. The spiritual force materialization instantly fused with the divine weapon, and the divine weapon's long saber also emitted a ferocious tiger's roar. In the void, a ferocious tiger-like beast materialized out of thin air and pounced forward. Toman was not slow either. He did not underestimate Fong Ping just because he was a rank 6. The moment Fong Ping made his move, a Buddhist staff appeared out of thin air into a man's hand. The Buddhist staff exploded with a brilliant golden glow, and he waved the staff. Rumble! With a loud explosion, the ferocious tiger condensed by Fong Ping's divine weapon shattered instantly. In the next second, both of them were already in close proximity. Tuoman was like a glaring Vajra, waving the Buddhist staff in his hand like a maniac. On the Buddhist staff, the white celestiality was extremely dense, striking toward Fong Ping instantly. Fong Ping roared again and again, his saber slashing out the phenomenon of the fallen gods. Boom, boom, boom. A series of booming sounds rang out. Fong Ping kept retreating, blood spurting out from his mouth. Puff! Fong Ping spat out a mouthful of golden blood. To Man waved the Buddhist staff and struck it. The blood and the Buddhist staff collided, shooting out brilliant sparks. At this moment, Man waved the Buddhist staff in his right hand, striking toward Fong Ping's head. His left hand, however, condensed into a fist, punched through the void, punching toward Fong Ping. Bang! A loud explosion rang out. Fong Ping, who was still blocking the divine weapon, had his chest pierced through in an instant. Ah! Among the spectators, someone exclaimed in a low voice. Su Zissou and the rest looked nervous. They had only exchanged blows for a short while, but Fong Ping was already no match for the other party. Fong Ping's semi-golden body defense was extremely strong, but it was still punched through by the other party. Su Haoran said softly, "Rank 7 celestiality is not something that Fong Ping's condensed celestiality can compare to. Although Fong Ping's ability is strong, there is still a huge gap between rank 6 and rank 7. Jiang Chao could not help but ask, why didn't he self-destruct his mentality? Su Haoran shot him a look. Even if he self-destructs, he still needs the opportunity. Do you think Man will give him the opportunity? When both of them are close, Fong Ping self-destructs. If he does not defeat Man, he might be accidentally injured by himself. Then widen the distance." As Jiang Chao spoke, he could not continue. At this moment, both of them in the air could not widen the distance at all. A rank 7 was a rank 7 after all. The space was not big either. Both of them were entangled together. Man kept attacking Fong Ping at close range. Fong Ping was beaten until he could only defend. He could not even counterattack. Sigh. Li Daong sighed softly. Fong Ping was indeed unwise this time. It was not easy to fight a rank 7 to this extent. Defeating the opponent was difficult. Too difficult. Thinking of this, Li Daong took a look at the sky, frowning slightly. Why did the minister let this guy out? Beside him, the ancient Buddhist sacred land's rank 9 was also staring at the sky. The threat in his eyes was obvious. They were not the Yang family. This was the ancient Buddhist sacred land that had 8 ancient Buddhas, maybe 7, guarding it. Now that the competition was open, if longevity sword dared to interfere in the middle and kill Man, even if the ancient Buddhist sacred land turned out in full force, they would not let MCMU off. Outside the absolute restriction, Old Man Li stood proudly in the void. He did not speak, only staring below. The old man was now weighing whether he could slash open the restriction created by absolute peak with 1 slash. The restriction this time was set up by Zhang Tao, although it was just set up casually. I probably can't slash through it, right? Old Man Li criticized in his heart. It was not that he did not want to go in, but the other party had directly sealed it, not letting him in. Although Zhang Tao did not care whether he left the education department or not, he still set up a barrier at the competition venue, not giving outsiders a chance to enter. Just as Old Man Li stood proudly in the void, a lot of mentality lingered around him. Old Man Li let out a cold humph. His vitality soared, crushing the surrounding mentality instantly. He scolded in a low voice, "If you King probe again, I'll give each of you a slash. I didn't even go in. Why are you staring at me?" At this moment, an incomparably majestic spiritual power approached him. Old Man Li's expression changed. He could not help but say, "That's enough. I can't even go in. Why are you always staring at me? Behave yourself. Don't break the rules. If you really lose, someone will admit defeat." Li Daong and Su Haoran, these two fellows, are purposely not shouting. "What should we do?" Zhang Tao's voice was filled with anger. "Why do you King suspect everyone?" If Su Haoran did not say anything, would Li Daong watch Fong Ping die? Zhang Tao could not be bothered with him. His mentality retreated instantly. Let this fellow be. As long as he did not interfere in the competition, he could not be bothered. Inside the arena, Man punched Fong Ping's skull again, saying, "General Fong's ability is indeed powerful. Cultivate your character for a while, and your future achievements will be greater." "You flatter me," Fong Ping replied in a muffled voice. He then sneered, "Do you really think you've won?" As soon as he finished speaking, his mentality materialized. This time, a small city did not appear. In the next moment, both of them appeared in a small house. Outside, everyone's expression changed slightly. The ancient Buddhist sacred land rank 9 powerhouse said in a low voice, "How can this be?" At this moment, both of them could not be seen outside. Only a small building could be seen. The rank 9 powerhouse knew very well what this meant. Man had been dragged into the core of his materialized object. Moreover, it was a core that had been completely materialized. It was not an existence that was half virtual and half real. If Fong Ping's small house had enough mentality, it could exist forever and truly descend into this world. Fong Ping, who had not materialized for long, had actually reached this stage. This was beyond everyone's expectations. Before this, everyone thought that the core of Fong Ping's materialized object was that blood-red sun. Later on, everyone understood that it was just a cover. The core of Fong Ping's materialized object was not the blood-red sun, but something else. Now, this was also confirmed. Man's mentality materialized object was not as powerful as Fong Ping's. What Man materialized was an ancient golden body of Buddha. It was not a living thing, just a statue of Buddha. Man could not completely materialize that golden body of Buddha. Currently, it was still just an empty shell, an illusory existence. Unlike Fong Ping, who dragged Man in, the others could not see him at all. The old monk was slightly surprised. In his surprise, 2 rays of golden light shot out of his eyes, sweeping his gaze toward the small building. At this moment, inside the house, Fong Ping roared, "Get lost! How dare a rank 9 interfere?" As soon as he said that, Li Diyong's gaze turned cold too. He looked at the old monk and said coldly, "Saint Master Itoa." The old monk said softly, "I didn't interfere. I just wanted to see what was real and what was fake. I couldn't see through it. I'm only afraid that Man can't stop, leaving me with regrets." Li Dayong frowned slightly, but did not say anything. Similarly, 2 rays of golden light burst out of Li Dayong's eyes, looking toward the small building. Fong Ping could stop others, but he could not stop them. They were powerful. It was not difficult for them to see through the small house. The other rank 9s followed suit, looking over there. The rank 8 powerhouses in the field did the same. As for some rank 7 powerhouses, they were dumbfounded. Motherf Kerr, they could not see through it. How embarrassing. A rank 6 martial artist mentality materialization. The other party was fighting inside, and they could not see what was going on. However, King embarrassing. The rank 7 powerhouses did not bat an eyelid. They looked at the small building seriously, as if they had seen through everything. The others did not mind. Yao Qingjun suddenly said to FMS's female vice-chancellor in a low voice, "Vice-chancellor, I can't see through it. Is the materialization of my mentality much weaker than his?" The female vice-chancellor said with a faint smile, "It's normal that you can't see through it. Rank 7s usually can't see through it. Although Fong Ping is not a rank 7, the materialization is equivalent to a rank 7. It's not that easy to see through someone of the same rank." As soon as she said that, many of the participating martial artists looked at the rank 7 martial artists. "Can you see through it?" Some of the rank 7 martial artists looked pale. No one uttered a word. "Who cares if I can see through it or not?" The female vice-chancellor exposed these fellows. She did not continue. Her expression became serious again. She said, "Interesting. Fong Ping dares to challenge a rank 7. He must have some confidence. In this house, Tumen's strength is suppressed." Suppressed? A battle of materialization is a battle of pure mentality. Of course, Tumen can also condense celestiality and destroy his materialization. But now, Tumen can't do it. Yes, Tumen could not do it. At this moment, Fong Ping was not the only one fighting in the house. Fong Ping and 3 shadows were attacking Tumen at the same time. This was a battle of mentality. The 3 shadows had no consciousness. They only had combat instincts. And this instinct was also Fong Ping's instinct. "Get lost, beat him up." Fong Ping replenished his mentality madly to maintain the small house. At the same time, he waved his saber and slashed madly. He even had the time to yell at one of the shadows. All right, this was not Fong Yuan. It had no consciousness either. Actually, this shadow was just a simple amalgamation of a few mentality. But Fong Ping felt that shouting it out was more exciting. The shadow could not beat Tumen. Instead, it was Tumen who beat it up. But very soon, the shadow reappeared. Tumen's expression became much more solemn. An even more powerful force erupted from the monk's staff, piercing through the roof with one strike. If it were someone else, the materialization core would probably be on the verge of collapse after being damaged like this. On Fong Ping's side, the hole in the roof was filled up in an instant. Then, one person and three shadows continued to besiege Tumen. Fong Ping was the main target. The monk's staff pierced through his chest a few times. Fong Ping did not care. He laughed and said, "So what if you're a rank 7? You couldn't kill me in a second in the beginning. I knew you weren't much. You can't kill me in a second. Even if you beat my body until it collapses, it's nothing." He had just finished speaking when Tumen's palm came slapping. Boom! Half of Fong Ping's cheek disappeared, revealing his golden bones. Fong Ping endured the pain and sneered, "Continue. If you're so capable, smash my golden bones with one strike. Otherwise, I'll definitely kill you today." "You shameless thing. I told you not to challenge, but you just had to challenge a Sino Nation martial artist." At this moment, Fong Ping let out a sudden roar. The small house was plunged into darkness instantly. Darkness was nothing to martial artists, especially rank 7 martial artists. They no longer cared whether it was night or day. Even if they did not have eyes, they could still sense with mentality and vitality. Tumen did not care about these. Whether it was night or day, it was all the same. However, the next moment, Tumen's gaze changed. Where was he? In his mentality sense, he was gone. In his vitality sense, there was no one either. As his expression changed, Tumen swung his palm abruptly and slapped behind him. Boom! There was a loud bang. A deep bloody mark appeared on his palm. Impossible! For the first time, Tumen revealed a terrified tone. Not only did the other party disappear from his sense, but he also condensed a powerful celestiality and fused it into his divine weapon. This slash broke through his defense directly, slashing his palm until it cracked. Bang! In the darkness, Tumen waved his monk's staff again, blocking the slash that fell from the sky. That slash was aimed at his head. Early stage rank 7 martial artists did not hone their skulls. "Damn it!" Tumen roared. His body suddenly erupted with dazzling golden light. Then, with a furious roar, his staff pierced through the roof again. Daylight descended. The moment the house lit up, Tumen saw Fong Ping, who was already swinging his saber beside him. Fong Ping felt the roof being pierced and retreated hurriedly. In the next moment, the roof began to mend, and the house was plunged into darkness again. Tumen was about to go crazy. This fellow was like sticky candy. No matter how he hit him, he would not break. He had just entered early stage rank 7. He could not kill the other party in one move. If he could not kill him in one move, this fellow's vitality was terrifyingly tenacious. If this went on, he might be exhausted to death. In the outside world, the ancient Buddha's sacred land's rank 9's gaze was so peculiar that even the golden light was swaying. Tumen seemed to be entangled. He would not be entangled to death, would he? If he could not kill the other party in one move, the other party would immediately become lively and full of tricks. Now, the only way was to unleash powerful strength and destroy the materialized object's core in one move. Only then could he escape the predicament of fighting in Fong Ping's materialized object. Could Tumen do it, though? The previous few times, a small part of it was destroyed each time and recovered instantly. Just as this rank 9 was deep in thought inside the house, Tumen was also extremely furious. In the next moment, an incomparably huge ancient Buddha phantom appeared in the small house. As soon as the ancient Buddha phantom appeared, the small house expanded continuously. A ruthless glint flashed in Fong Ping's eyes. He sneered, "You really dare to compete with me in mentality?" After saying that, Fong Ping disappeared from the small house instantly. Then, there was a deafening rumble. The small house disappeared completely. At this moment, both of them appeared in front of everyone. Fong Ping's 7 orifices were bleeding. His chest was also pierced in many places. Not far away, Tumen's face was also pale. In the void, an ancient Buddha phantom was broken beyond repair. Everyone's expression changed when they saw it. The confrontation between these two was extremely dangerous. Both of them involved a battle of materialized objects. Once the materialized object's core was obliterated, it would die completely. In front of Fong Ping, the small house that had already disappeared was slowly materializing. It expanded bit by bit. In the next moment, Fong Ping dragged Tumen into the small house again. Damn it! Everyone could only hear Tumen's angry roar. The kind of angry roar that was flustered and exasperated. Fong Ping had just self-destructed the small house, almost destroying his materialized object. Now he was doing it again. The rank 6 martial artists looked at each other. The rank 7 Tumen had really met a tough opponent this time. Just as they were thinking about this, not long after, there was another deafening rumble. Fong Ping was sent flying backward once again. His flesh was already badly mutilated, yet he laughed hysterically. Not far away, Tumen was like a dead man, his face pale. The ancient Buddha phantom that only had a little bit of its base left was kept by him instantly. When he looked at Fong Ping again, the murderous intent in his eyes was concentrated. Fong Ping had almost obliterated his mentality completely. Come again. In front of Fong Ping, the small house rapidly materialized again. Tumen was furious. The Zen staff in his hand left his hand, tearing through the air. The power of this furious attack was also incomparably huge. Before it could even get close to Fong Ping, the few rank 6 martial artists behind Fong Ping retreated one after another. The rank 9 martial artists in front quickly set up a barrier, blocking the aftermath. Rumble! The booming sound was endless. Fong Ping laughed loudly, using the small house to trap the Zen staff. Then he raised his saber and charged over, laughing loudly. Without a divine weapon, I don't dare to use my mentality. Let's try again. At this moment, Fong Ping's mentality materialized to trap his divine weapon. Tumen did not have a divine weapon in hand. His mentality was also depleted, and he was heavily injured. Right now, both of them were relying on vitality and their physiques to fight. Meanwhile, Fong Ping wielded a divine weapon against Tumen, who was barehanded. Although the strength of his vitality was far inferior, when Tumen struck out with his palm, he could only make Fong Ping's golden bones tremble. There was no way he could kill Fong Ping. Fong Ping did not care about his injuries at all. Even if Tumen hit his head, he did not care at all. He just kept on slashing his opponent madly. The divine weapon's sharpness could even break a golden body. Moreover, Tumen was not a golden body powerhouse yet. The sounds of puff puff were endless. Not long after, both of Tumen's arms were chopped off by Fong Ping. As for Fong Ping, he could not help but curse wildly in his heart. His half-golden body was too fake. Forget about rank 8. Even rank 7 could not block it. Although his half-golden body was stronger every time, this time, he was beaten until he was half-crippled again. Even though he did not reach the stage of a skeleton, his flesh and blood were splattered. No wonder martial artists from various countries do not care too much about the strength of their physiques. Without reaching rank 8, the condensed golden body is fake. A half-golden body before rank 8 could still be used to block same-rank opponents. Against powerhouses, it was almost useless. Tumen, who had lost both his arms, was also roaring furiously at this moment. His legs were like shadows, kicking Fong Ping until he kept retreating. I'll chop you into a human stick. Fong Ping let out a low roar, taking a kick from his opponent head-on. The kick squeezed his eyeballs out, but he endured the pain and slashed again. Crack! With a crisp sound, Tumen's left leg was chopped off. Everyone was watching the battle between both of them. Seeing that both of Tumen's arms were chopped off and his left leg was chopped off, many of them had strange looks on their faces. If they continued fighting like this, could it be that Fong Ping was really going to overpower a rank 7 and kill the other party? Jiang Chao shuddered. He said in a low voice, "Both of them are so King ruthless." Fong Ping was being beaten up so badly, yet he was still roaring in excitement. 3 of Tumen's limbs were also chopped off, but he still refused to admit defeat and was fighting Fong Ping. If it were him, he would have surrendered long ago at this point. Jiang Chao lamented that both sides were ruthless. The other high-ranked martial artists, on the other hand, looked conflicted. Sino Nation's Fong Ping. His fighting style was too frustrating. He was exhausting his opponent to death. In terms of vitality, physique, combat techniques, Fong Ping was almost no match for Tumen, but he could afford to waste time. If you could not make him unable to stand up in one hit and kill him completely, he could exhaust you to death. The early-stage rank 7 Tumen had not reached the point where he could kill Fong Ping in one hit. If this went on, Tumen would be finished. On the Andes side, the black-robed woman watched for a while. She did not know whether to feel lucky or speechless. Fong Ping was extremely arrogant, provoking them repeatedly earlier. In the last battle, he even threatened to kill Tumen. Before this, they could still treat it as a joke, but now, Tumen refused to admit defeat. Then, he would really be beaten to death. Void-piercing sword. At this moment, Fong Ping roared. Even though he was holding a saber, he still shouted the name, Void-piercing sword. There was no other reason. This was Li Zhun's ultimate move. It was domineering enough. Puff! The saber slashed down. Tumen's right leg flew out. Fong Ping took the opportunity to slash again. The right leg was crushed instantly. Damn it! In the ancient Buddha's sacred land, the rank 9 powerhouse cursed under his breath. The limb was still there. Tumen could reattach it. The limb was gone. Without a rank 8, only a large amount of life essence could reconstruct the limb. This was extremely costly. The previous 3 limbs were not crushed, but the right leg was definitely gone this time. This was not enough. While Fong Ping continued to chase Tumen, as if unintentionally, he stomped the other 3 limbs on the ground. They all exploded instantly, crushed into pieces. Fong Ping knew that the probability of killing Tumen was not high. A rank 9's grasp of timing was not that bad. Even if he could not kill Tumen, he would still make him suffer a huge loss. The next time he saw him, he would kneel and call him father. This bastard. He had hit his face a few times. Did he really think that he could not deal with him anymore? At this point, Fong Ping was getting braver as he fought. Tumen, on the other hand, did not even dare to release his mentality anymore. There was no chance for him to turn the tables. Fong Ping did not dare to be careless. After chopping Tumen into a human stick, his next moves were all aimed at his head. The rank 9 did not admit defeat. As long as he landed a slash, this guy's head would explode. Let's see how he could survive then. At this point, the ancient Buddha's sacred land's rank 9 monk showed a hint of helplessness and annoyance on his face. Suddenly he shouted, "Admit defeat!" Bang! Fong Ping sent the limbless Tumen flying with a kick. He looked around, looked at the black-robed woman, and sneered, "You're smart. Otherwise, I'll chop you into a human stick this time too." The black-robed woman gave him a look. She said mildly, "If I shatter your brain, can you still not die?" Fong Ping sneered, "You'll know once you try. There's nothing else. Your head is hard enough. You'll have to punch through my golden bones first." Having said that, Fong Ping ignored her. He put away the materialized object and kept the still-struggling Zen staff in his hand. Seeing this scene, Tumen, who had flown back and was suspended in midair, had an extremely ugly look in his eyes. Fong Ping had taken away his divine weapon. Fong Ping shot him a look and sneered. "You guys better compensate me with 2 more divine weapons. Otherwise, when we enter the restricted area, we'll see." Bastard. This time, the rank 9 old monk was enraged. He did not look at Fong Ping. Instead, he looked at Li Daong and asked, "Humans have entered the restricted area. We can't fight as allies. Does Sino Nation want to tear up everything? Li Daong said immediately. Sino Nation has no such intention. Fong Ping was just saying it casually. Don't take it seriously. Having said that, Li Daong chided softly. Fong Ping, don't be so blunt. Human martial artists have entered the restricted area. You should work together. No matter what grudges you have now, you must not attack human martial artists. Fong Ping heard that and immediately grinned. I was just joking. How could I really do that? Commander, now that I've won, shouldn't the competition end? Just as Li Daong was about to speak, a martial artist from the Hall of Gods who had already been shortlisted suddenly stood up. He had just stood up when Fong Ping's expression suddenly darkened. You dare to challenge to a man? We'll see. This upper stage rank 6 martial artist's body trembled slightly. This was not his decision. Instead, it was the consensus of both parties' higher-ups. They had to let Tuo Man be shortlisted. It did not matter even if he lost his chance. The ancient Buddhist Sacred Lands rank 9 looked at Fong Ping. His gaze was sharp. He said coldly, Fong Ping, you don't have the right to interfere with the competition's rules. On the Hall of God's side, the rank 9 martial artist glanced at Fong Ping. He did not speak. Fong Ping suddenly laughed. It's not his turn yet. According to the rules, he has Yao Qingjun. Old Yao, this big beard is crippled. Challenge him and have a taste of winning against a rank 7. As soon as he said that, Yao Qingjun was silent. A stretch of ruins appeared in front of him. If Tuo Man, whose mentality and body were both crippled, fought with Yao Qingjun now, it would be hard to say who would win. As for Tuo Man, in order to ensure that the ancient Buddhist Sacred Lands people were shortlisted, he had already been challenged once by the ancient Buddhist Sacred Lands people. He chose to admit defeat. This time, he lost to Fong Ping again. Yao Qingjun wanted a challenge. If he won, no matter how much help the others gave him, he would not be able to enter. Seeing that things had come to this, the ancient Buddhist Sacred Lands rank 9 monk looked at Fong Ping. He asked slowly, what do you want? 2 divine weapons. If the ancient Buddhist Sacred Land gives up this opportunity, the old monk shook his head. He would rather Tuo Man did not enter the restricted zone. 2 divine weapons were not really worthless. 1 round, Fong Ping laughed. Don't bargain. Otherwise, that Yao Qingjun will definitely challenge him. Big Beard might not lose. Although he has become a human stick, he still has the strength to fight. The old monk suppressed the anger in his heart. After a while, he said, sure. Fong Ping grinned. It was not too bad. Although he did not manage to kill the other party, he had taken 2 divine weapons, chopped off the other party's limbs, and severely injured his mentality. This time, the ancient Buddhist Sacred Land would have to pay a huge price to let Tuo Man recover. And this time, from the beginning to the end, he had taken a total of 4 divine weapons. He still had 3 in his hands. Old Man Li's Windchaser boots were actually useless. That was 8 divine weapons, one of which was even ranked 8. Divine weapons aren't that valuable anyway, Fong Ping said casually. Old Zhang had extorted him 5 times. This was the extent of it. As soon as these words came out, everyone's expression was extremely strange. Some people also thought that Fong Ping seemed to have a lot of divine weapons in his hands. Many people knew about his gains in the Tiananmen catacombs last time. Counting it like this kid had taken another 4 divine weapons this time. He could buy divine weapons wholesale. Not only that, all the grandmasters in MCMEU had taken divine weapons from him, except for Wu Quishan. This guy was really much wealthier than a rank 9. Even a paragon might not be wealthier than him. At least a paragon could not simply kill those demons. Of course, divine weapons were not the key. The key was still strength. A rank 6 defeated a rank 7. Even if Fong Ping was considered half a rank 7, in reality, he was indeed a middle-stage rank 6. However, the other party defeated an early-stage rank 7 martial artist and almost killed him. Just as everyone was feeling complicated, Jiang Chao suddenly laughed. Isn't the global youth ranking going to be released? Fong Ping is the first rank 6. Is there anyone who disagrees? Chapter 558. Fong Ping was insufferably arrogant, even daring to extort the ancient Buddha Sacred Land's divine weapon. On the ancient Buddha's Sacred Land side, although everyone was furious, there was nothing they could do now. If they dared to touch Fong Ping in Sino Nation's territory, they would have to consider whether they could walk out alive. After entering the catacombs and entering the restricted area, they should be the ones worried, not Fong Ping. Rank 6 and Rank 7, the places they entered were different. If Tuo Man and Yao Qingjun did not use their divine weapon at this moment, he would definitely lose. A grandmaster whose mentality was crippled was actually half crippled. As for Jiang Chao's invincible Rank 6, no one said anything. Because this was the truth. Even Tuo Man was defeated. Who else in Rank 6 could be Fong Ping's opponent? If they really wanted to find someone, it would probably be Li Chongqing from back then. Li Chongqing killed Fong Ping with a sword. He probably did not have a good ending. Just as everyone was thinking about Li Chongqing, the seal dissipated abruptly. The next moment, old man Li descended from the sky. He looked at Fong Ping and chuckled. Not bad. You're starting to look like I did back in the day, but you're still too weak. Fighting a guy who just entered Rank 7, geniuses like us should be killed instantly. You, on the other hand, were beaten half to death by him. Embarrassing. Fong Ping chuckled. I'm only middle stage Rank 6. When I reach peak, old man Li chuckled. It's hard to say whether you'll reach peak or not. Why so much nonsense? As soon as these words came out, everyone came to a sudden realization. This guy might not even reach peak Rank 6. If the Sanjiao Gate was sealed, then he would be peak Rank 6. But if this guy directly achieved mentality-vitality fusion and directly entered Rank 7, Fong Ping continued laughing. Anyway, I'm only 20 years old. You only killed a Rank 8 in seconds at 60 years old. I should be able to kill a Paragon in seconds at 60 years old. Old man Li's expression stiffened slightly. I'm supporting you. Why can't you support me? Too lazy to answer. Old man Li looked at the Martial Arts Association president beside him and said, when the ranking is changed tomorrow, I'll be the first Rank 8. Fong Ping also added, I'm the first Rank 6. I don't want this Wild Blade general title. Change it for me. Saber King, Saber God, Saber Emperor, anything will do. The Rank 8 Martial Arts Association president glanced at the two. Only after a while, the corner of his mouth twitched and laughed in his heart. F***CK. The two of you better continue to be strong. If there's a day when you're down and out, hang me at the door and give me a beating. Li Daong was also mentally exhausted. Ignoring the two of them, he turned to the man from the Hall of Gods and asked, do you still want to challenge? Challenge. With that, the other party immediately said, I admit defeat. Of course, the Hall of Gods would definitely compensate him for his loss. As for the ancient Buddha sacred ground, they would probably have to pay a huge price in order to save Tumen. The reason why he insisted on getting this slot was to ensure that Tuo Man could safely enter the forbidden area. However, at this moment, the old monk glanced at Tuo Man and suddenly felt a little dejected. This time, Tumen suffered a huge blow. This genius from the Holy Land wouldn't be unable to recover from this setback, right? Being defeated by a level 6 martial artist was simply unacceptable to a high and mighty god state powerhouse. Although the old monk felt helpless, he set up a barrier and said in a low voice, he's not Rank 6 either. Tuo Man, his mentality materialization is actually considered Rank 7. He's achieved golden bones, maybe even hovering between Rank 7 and 8. Don't look at martial artists like him by ranks anymore. You didn't lose to a Rank 6 martial artist. Even if you achieve mentality-vitality fusion, how many people can withstand 3 moves from you? Rank 7s were very strong, there was no doubt about that. A powerhouse who achieved mentality-vitality fusion against Tuo Man. If Tuo Man unleashed his power, killing the opponent in 3 moves was almost guaranteed. Fong Ping, however, was neither here nor there. Strictly speaking, he really could not be considered a Rank 6 martial artist. Tuo Man, who had lost his limbs, was still silent. The old monk sighed softly and said no more. This round, Tuo Man had to walk out on his own. However, After taking a look at Fong Ping, who was not far away, his body broken and still chatting happily with others, the old monk still gave an affirmative statement. Although Sino Nation's Fong Ping is savage, Sino Nation has promoted that martial arts must compete, and he has done it brilliantly. The ancient Buddhist sacred land has been hiding from the world for too long. I hope that everyone can gain something from this trip to the God territory. The sacred land did not lack resources. It did not lack anything. This had also led to a very serious problem. They did not have that kind of ruthlessness that climbed up from the bottom. When these people were weak, they dared to pull out their sabers and kill people for a vitality pill. This kind of experience was not experienced by the major sacred lands. The youth competition was also a rare opportunity to see blood. The old monk even thought in his heart, perhaps the sacred land should give out some death quotas every year in the future. In South Asia, those martial artists from the outside world were now unusually ruthless. In terms of ruthlessness and fighting spirit, the new generation of the sacred land might be far from them. The results of the competition were finally decided. Sino Nation, 12 people qualified. Ancient Buddhist sacred land, 6 people. Heaven of the Gods, for people. Wana World, 3 people. Andes, 3 people. Totem City, 2 people. Andes, because there was an additional Grandmaster this time, had more people qualified. In previous years, there were only 1 or 2 people. Ancient Buddhist sacred land also had more people this time, but they actually took up a quota from Heaven of the Gods. The price they paid might be even worse than the extra quota, so it was not considered a gain. On Sino Nation's side, 12 people qualified. Martial arts universities took up 4 spots, and the military departments Duhong and the other 4 were also qualified. The remaining 4 people, Li Fei, Zheng Nanqi, Jiang Chao, and Su Zissou, were qualified. The others were eliminated. Fong Ping took a look and laughed in his heart. All right, I really know the strength of Stellar Sky City's old ancestor. Needless to say, the Li family's old ancestor was also strong. The Su family's was probably not bad, and the last one was probably the Zheng family's old ancestor. Actually, one could judge from who was qualified. Powerhouses did not really challenge these few. 12 was not a small number. In previous years, there were only about 10. This year, although one of the Yang family's 2 old ancestors was killed and the other left, in the end, Sino Nation still got 12, more than Li Daong and the others expected. At this moment, the sky was already dark. Seeing that the quota had been confirmed, Li Daong said, "That's it for today. Everyone go back and rest. Fong Ping, the few of you report to Capital City Military Department on the 5th. At that time, we will explain the next action and mission to you." Fong Ping asked doubtfully, "Mission? You'll know when the time comes." After saying that, Li Daong ignored him and looked at Li Chongqing. After a while, he said, "Return to MCMU as soon as possible. Don't wander around if you have nothing better to do." He and Li Chongqing were from the same hometown. The outside world said that the 2 of them were distant relatives. Of course, going back a few hundred years, they might really be relatives. But now, at least the 2 of them did not know that they were relatives. However, in the same place, 2 powerhouses coming from the same place would more or less be closer. In the past, Old Man Li was only rank 6 and did not catch Li Daong's attention. Now that the other party had killed a rank 8 with 1 slash, he could be mentioned in the same breath as him. There were only so many powerhouses in Sino Nation. 2 rank 9s appearing in the same place, other than places like Stellar Sky City, had not happened in other places. Old Man Li did not utter a word, pretending not to hear. Why did he want to return to MCMAU? Seeing that he did not speak, Li Daong felt a splitting headache. He could not help but say, "The few of them will report to the military department next. There won't be any problems. If anything happens, come and find me." Old Man Li laughed and said, "It's not easy for me to come to Capital City. I want to see my old friends. Su Zhan is still in CCMU, right? I'll pay him a visit later." You. Li Daong had nothing to say. Beside him, Li Hansong looked embarrassed. "You want to bully my instructor again? You were beaten badly last time, and you want to come again?" Fong Ping did not care about this. He asked, "Commander, what about them?" Fong Ping glanced at the foreigners. Were these people going to stay in Sino Nation too? Li Daong shook his head and said, "They don't have to stay in Sino Nation for long. But before entering the restricted area, you guys will meet up again. When that time comes, everyone will be comrades." Fong Ping sneered and did not say anything. They were just talking about being comrades. Everyone probably had some kind of covenant that they were not allowed to attack each other. As for rescuing each other, that was probably nonsense. In the youth competition, everyone fought to the death. How could there be any camaraderie? Beside him, Jiang Chao seemed to know what he was thinking. He said softly, "Actually, once we enter the restricted area, we won't have time to care about them. Once we enter the restricted area, we'll be targeted by the catacombs. We won't have time to care about other people's lives." As he said that, Jiang Chao seemed to have thought of something. He said with some fear, "Fong Ping, don't you break through to rank 7 at this time?" "Huh? If you break through, then won't I," even Fatty wanted to say, "won't I be licking his boots for nothing?" After achieving rank 7, everyone will not be in the same area. When that time comes, who can I reason with? Fong Ping roughly knew what he was thinking. He smiled and said, "We'll see. Besides, it's only a month or so. How can I achieve rank 7 so quickly?" That's hard to say. Before this, Jiang Chao did not believe it at all. But now, Fong Ping could even defeat a rank 7. He really could not be sure. Not only Jiang Chao, but even Li Daong said, "Don't achieve rank 7 before entering the restricted area. Otherwise, it'll be very dangerous when you've just achieved rank 7. At least your safety is guaranteed now." Fong Ping's ability was extremely strong. Among rank 6, there was almost no one who could defeat him. The reason why he said almost was because there would always be freaks in this world, especially in the catacombs. 108 extraterrestrials and the 4 main royal halls would still have freaks. Fong Ping nodded and did not continue speaking. In a month, even if he cooperated with Old Yao, he would at most achieve upper stage rank 6. The life gate would not close so quickly. Fong Ping did not care about this anymore. Instead, he took a look at his own data. Although he had only fought a few matches in the youth tournament this time, his consumption was not low. Wealth, 526. 2 billion converted vitality. 7,089 calories. 8,999 calories. Mentality. 335 hertz. 1,150 hertz. Bones honed. 177 bones, 100%. 29 bones, 90% storage space. 100 cubic meters plus energy shield. 10,000 wealth/minute plus aura simulation. 100,000 wealth/minute plus. These days, his mentality had grown at a fast pace. In just a few days, it had already reached 1,150 hertz. It should be higher than Lu Fengru and Tang Feng. However, his vitality did not increase at all. Fong Ping felt a little helpless. It seemed that if he did not close the Sanjiao gate, this would be the limit of his body. Compared to rank 7 martial artists, the only limitation of the current him was that his vitality was not as strong as theirs. He could not actively fuse mentality-vitality into celestiality. His celestiality was given by the system. This was actually a kind of disadvantage. The celestiality condensed by the system was, after all, just an external thing. In the early stages, it would increase Fong Ping's strength. However, at this point, compared to the rank 7 martial artist celestiality, it was almost impossible to say that he had any control over his strength. Others could explode with 20% of their strength. His side was like an iron plate, the kind that was fixed. There was no explosion to speak of. Fong Ping looked for a while and suddenly thought of something. The 3 divine weapons that he snatched this time and the one that the ancient Buddhist sacred land promised had not been calculated for his wealth. Right? Could it be that there were still unforeseen events? There were indeed unforeseen events. Just as Fong Ping was thinking about these, Li Daong and a few foreign rank 9s discussed in low voices for a while. They walked up to Fong Ping and said, "Fong Ping, the few divine weapons that you took away earlier are all their common weapons. They want to exchange something else for them. What is it?" Energy stones, pills, herbs, energy fruits, they're all fine. Fong Ping grinned and said, "Is there something like the heavenly golden lotus? If there is, I'll exchange it. As for the rest, sorry, I don't like them. I have too many to use. I can't even be bothered to pick up the energy stones that have fallen on the ground now." Seeing Li Diyong's speechless face, Fong Ping said again, "Well, the ultimate inner armor is fine too. It's best if it's a full-body armor. Of course, accessories that can seal off mentality will also work." Before he finished, Luo Sayas, who was not far away, said with a dark expression, "I'm not exchanging." The ancient Buddhist sacred land side also shook their heads slightly. "Forget it, they were not exchanging. Stop joking. Some of these things were much more precious than divine weapons. Divine weapons were external things after all. Treasures like the heavenly golden lotus were treasures that could directly enhance mentality. They were even produced from the forbidden sea, which was more precious than divine weapons. As for the ultimate inner armor, not to mention that they did not have it. Even if they did, they would not exchange it. Even rank 9 powerhouses could wear it. Among everyone, only Li Yiming, who had 2 ultimate backgrounds, had it. It was obvious how rare it was. Fong Ping did not care if they did not exchange it. He looked at the ancient Buddhist sacred land side and said, "Then the divine weapon that was promised to me just now." On the ancient Buddhist sacred land side, the old monk looked around and finally looked at Butoya. He did not have anything extra. His own was rank 9, but could he give it to Fong Ping? Butoya was slightly helpless. When he went up to the stage previously, he did not bring his divine weapon because he was afraid that Fong Ping would snatch it away. Now, it was coming to him on its own. Very soon, Butoya's monk staff appeared in Fong Ping's hands. Fong Ping looked at it for a while and shook his head slightly. 2 monk staffs, 2 great swords. These were not in line with his style. Forget it, he would just throw them to old Zhang later. As for the remaining staff, Fong Ping glanced at old man Li and said, "Instructor, take off your boots later. This thing is useless. Throw it to Minister Zhang as the price for the divine fruit." Fong Ping said it in a very serious manner. A divine fruit. A divine fruit that defied the heavens and changed fate. Old Zhang really had to prepare one for himself later. At this moment, Fong Ping's wealth had also changed. 4 god weapons, all of them rank 7, had increased his wealth by 44 billion. In an instant, his wealth had recovered to more than 570 billion. While Fong Ping was talking, Jiang Chao said with a look of embarrassment, "Those boots are mine." Fong Ping said indifferently, "Go ask Minister Zhang for it then. Your old ancestor is powerful. Maybe he can get it back." Jiang Chao was extremely depressed. What a joke. No matter how powerful the old ancestor was, he was still the old ancestor. He was not at the top. If he dared to look for Zhang Tao would kill him with one slap. Even his old ancestor would have nothing to say. Who gave him the courage to challenge the top? Fong Ping and the others busied themselves for a while. The youth tournament had finally come to an end. Many of them were injured and had gone to treat their injuries. When Fong Ping, Old Wang, and the others were preparing to leave, a female voice suddenly rang in their ears. "Fong, I look forward to you achieving rank 7 before you enter God territory." Before the voice had died away, Li Diyong's gaze was like a knife. He instantly turned to the black-robed woman in the Andes and scolded, "If you dare to instigate again, I'll kill you." As soon as he said that, the black-robed woman's body trembled slightly. It was not that she was afraid, but Li Diyong's gaze was really as sharp as a knife. With one strike, he had severely injured her mentality. Everyone else was dumbfounded. Many of them did not hear the mentality transmission. As for Fong Ping, he did not care about this. He asked curiously, "Mentality transmission? Is it a special combat technique?" Although mentality could be released, Fong Ping did not know that he could transmit his voice. However, Li Jin seemed to have done it once before. It should not be considered difficult, right? Fong Ping thought to himself that he should learn this thing too. Otherwise, it would be very inconvenient to speak most of the time. Just as Fong Ping was thinking about this, the rank 9 powerhouse from the Andes gave Li Daong a slight apology. Then, he pulled the black-robed woman and left without looking back. After they left, Fong Ping said, "Commander, why were you so fierce just now?" Li Daong said impatiently, "That woman was up to no good. I've already said that you better not achieve rank 7 before entering the restricted area. I'm not trying to harm you." After they achieve rank 7 and enter the restricted area, they are all organized. Cough. You know what I mean? Some of the rank 7 martial artists from the Holy Land are there too. All the rank 7s who entered through the youth tournament are there. As for you, Li Daong glanced at Su Haoran, who was not far away, and said nothing. Fong Ping understood instantly. He raised his eyebrows and asked, "Yang Qing from the Yang family is there too?" "Yes." "Jiang Chao's big brother too?" "Yes." "What about the government?" "A little, but we don't stay there for long, unlike them who stay there all the time. So, if you achieve rank 7, you'll be a bigger threat. They're all a group of people. As for you, unless you build a good relationship with Star Town and blend in." "All right." Fong Ping understood. Li Daong did not let him achieve rank 7 in advance because he had good intentions. That was why he got rid of the Yang family. Yang Qing was there, and Star Town's rank 7 was not familiar with him. It went without saying who he was helping. Jiang Chao was not hostile towards Fong Ping because he was not familiar with the two from the Yang family. However, since Jiang Chao's big brother and these people were fighting together, their relationship should be good. If Fong Ping went alone, he would be isolated and helpless. He would also have to prevent the people from Star Town from finding trouble with him. The flat-chested woman from Andes was probably angry that Fong Ping had provoked her many times before, so she deliberately encouraged Fong Ping to break through as soon as possible. When Fong Ping thought of this, he suddenly said in surprise, "Why do you all think that I can achieve rank 7 in a month? Even I don't have this confidence. What are you all thinking?" Li Daong stopped in his tracks. Yes, it was only a month. Why was he thinking about this? Li Daong could not explain it either. It was Old Man Li who chuckled and said, "You were shocked by the two of us. You're ashamed of your inferiority. It's that simple." Fong Ping shrugged. "It seems like I'm too outstanding, so outstanding that all of you are confused." June 3rd. The youth tournament began. It ended on the same day. June 4th. The ranking list had really changed. It was not because of the threat from Old Man Li and Jiang Chao, but because both of them had shown their strength. Everyone had seen it, so there was no need to hide it now. In the end, Old Man Li was really the first rank bait. However, Old Man Li was not too happy, because the original first and second rank 8 were gone. In the updated ranking list on June 4th, 2 rank 8s were missing: Snake King Wu Quishan and Amazing Spear Guo Xian. Originally, the military department's deputy commander-in-chief was the first rank 8, and Wu Quishan was the second rank 8. However, this time, both of their names disappeared from the rank 8 ranking list. They did not die, but entered rank 9. Just a few days after Fong Ping left, Wu Quishan broke through. Previously, there were 33 people in the rank 9 ranking list. Axe King Xing Kaisen was rumored to have died, but his name was not removed. This time, his name was not removed either. There were 2 more people in the rank 9 ranking list, making it 35 people. As for Wu Quishan, he entered rank 9, ranked 24th, an extremely high ranking. One must know that rank 9 powerhouses were all powerhouses. Wu Quishan had only just entered rank 9. However, Wu Quishan had a rank 9 divine weapon. Just this point alone made him no weaker than a middle stage rank 9 martial artist. For the first time, martial arts universities produced a true rank 9 powerhouse from a martial arts university. Wu Quishan, ranked 24th in rank 9, entered the Grandmaster sequence. Li Chongxing ranked 1st in rank 8. Fong Ping ranked 1st in rank 6. When this ranking list was released, the entire country was shaken. MCMU was unbelievably powerful for a moment. 9 ranking lists, 3 first places, and 1 first place in rank 4, which was also taken by a veteran instructor of MCMAU. It was just a martial arts university. Although there were many powerhouses in the past, martial arts universities belonged to the Education Ministry and were only a small branch under the Education Ministry. If one were to compare, it was about the same as the Department of Investigation Services in each province. At most, it was equivalent to a provincial governor's office. However, everywhere in the country, including the capital city governor, there were no rank 9 powerhouses. At this moment, MCMU was more than equivalent to the governor's office. If there was another rank 9, their strength would be equivalent to the Southern House of Guardians and the Department of Investigation Services. In the Southern House of Guardians, other than Wu Chuan, there was another rank 9 powerhouse, but he was just a beginner. It was the same for the Department of Investigation Services, which only had a rank 9 deputy minister. Old Man Li's strength was actually comparable to a rank 9, but Wu Quishan was still slightly weaker than Wu Chuan and Nan Yunyue. Otherwise, MCMU's strength alone was comparable to this department and a house. When the ranking list was released, the outside world was in an uproar. Fong Ping murmured, "This grudge. I'll remember it." The two presidents of the Martial Arts Association, "Just you wait. I'll find trouble with you sooner or later." They clearly knew that MCMAU was so strong, yet they did not change Fong Ping's name. Sooner or later, he would give these two presidents a good beating. Of course, Fong Ping was not in the mood to look for trouble now. He was busy calling the school, preparing to congratulate Old Wu. Old Wu breaking through to rank 9 so quickly was beyond his expectations. It had only been a month since he went into closed-door cultivation in May. In a month's time, Old Wu had actually entered rank 9. That was too awesome. Fong Ping even began to plan. After he came out of the restricted area and Old Wu had consolidated his realm, should he go directly to Magic City Catacombs and destroy Skygate City's old nest? I wonder how the Skygate City's relocation is going. If I knew that Old Wu would break through so quickly, I wouldn't have participated in this youth competition. Fong Ping felt a little disdainful of this quota, but now he could not give it up even if he wanted to. Could he really get many benefits by entering the restricted area? Perhaps the benefits would be greater if he destroyed Skygate City. It was a pity that he thought Old Wu would need at least 3 to 5 months to break through. He did not expect Old Wu to break through so quickly. Forget it. He just broke through. He needs to consolidate his realm. I hope that when he comes back, Skygate City will still be there. After all, it's a city with millions of people. It's not that fast to move a city. Although Skygate City had long said that they would move, the actual decision to move would still be made after March. It had only been less than 3 months since then. In less than 3 months, they had to build a new city, relocate people, and move a huge mine. It was almost impossible to complete. I wonder if the Skygate City Lord ran away? This thought came to Fong Ping's mind. That fellow might not dare to stay in the catacombs. After all, he had shown his divine weapon earlier and angered the restricted area demons. But it was also hard to say. A rank 9 city lord might not be willing to abandon the city and the huge mine, unless he was given another huge mine in the restricted area. Fong Ping did not think about this anymore. When he called back, he found out that Wu Quishan had not come out of closed-door cultivation. Although he had broken through and his sword aura soared to the sky, everyone knew that he had broken through. Wu Quishan had not come out yet. He was probably still cultivating. Another one who uses a sword. Only now did Fong Ping remember that Wu Quishan also used a sword as a weapon. For a moment, he could not help but think of Axe King. That person called himself the Sword King back then. He was too arrogant. Who else would Wu Chuan hit if not him? There were too many powerhouses who used swords. On MCMU's side, the old Vice-Chancellor, Wu Quishan, and Li Chongqing all used swords. Wu Chuan used a sword too. Li Daong from the military department, including Li Zhun, used swords. On the other hand, there were not that many powerhouses who used sabers. Calling himself the Sword King, how much courage did that take? It's hard to say. If Axe King had really withstood the pressure back then and kept calling himself the Sword King, maybe he wouldn't have fallen. Fong Ping suddenly had this thought. Perhaps he should give himself some pressure. How about calling himself the Saber King Fong Ping? No. Saber Emperor? When that time came, would there be a powerhouse who used a saber to beat him up? Thinking was just thinking. Right now, Fong Ping was not in the mood to do this. He asked about the school again and quickly hung up. After hanging up, Fong Ping looked at the 5 divine weapons in front of him again. For a moment, he felt a little helpless. These, after today, they would not be mine anymore. Old Zhang has to put in some effort. I have to forge a divine weapon that belongs to me. The chaos-vanquishing saber has been destroyed. Maybe I can merge the remaining 3 divine weapons into one and turn them into a divine weapon that belongs to me? Previously, Fong Ping had thought of smelting 2 divine weapons, but that was because he did not have enough strength. Old Zhang was at the top. It should not be too difficult for him to smelt a rank 8 divine weapon that belonged to him, right? When he used the divine weapon earlier, there was the roar of a ferocious tiger. That was a sign that the divine weapon was reviving. After all, he did not smelt it himself. Actually, Fong Ping did not unleash the divine weapon's effect at all. He was hacking it like an alloy weapon. It was the same for Tuo Man. His divine weapon was also not smelted by him. Otherwise, it would be even more powerful. Even so, Tuo Man's divine weapon could still fight with Fong Ping's materialization after leaving him. It was obvious that a divine weapon could increase combat strength greatly. I'll make a rank 8 divine weapon and then a rank 7 divine weapon for daily use. The rank 8 divine weapon will always be kept in the vitality gate for nurturing. Yes, that's what I should do. Fong Ping calculated for a while and made up his mind. Perhaps the Bloody Sun in the materialization should use a divine weapon as the main body. This way, it would not be easily defeated by others. The core object, that small house, might also need an extremely powerful divine weapon to suppress it. The more he thought about it, the poorer Fong Ping felt. Chapter 559. The Ministry of Education. This was Fong Ping's first visit to the Ministry of Education, one of the core departments in Sino Nation. The 3 ministries and 4 houses were the core of the Sino Nation government. In the past, Fong Ping had imagined that the Ministry of Education would be similar to the government agencies in his past life. When he arrived at the Ministry of Education, Fong Ping realized that it was still different. The people in the Ministry of Education were very busy, so busy that when Fong Ping walked into the building, almost no one looked at him. Similarly, the security here was very tight. There were guards at the door, not in military uniforms, but martial artist guards in the Ministry of Education's combat uniforms. 4 rank for martial artists guarding the door. This was considered a big deal. These rank for guards could even become a city commander in a local area. Fong Ping had come together with Old Man Li. The guard checked their identities and did not smile. As Fong Ping walked deeper into the building, he asked, "Teacher, the Department of Education has its own combat organization?" "Of course." Old Man Li said it matter-of-factly, smiling. The 3 ministries and 4 houses have their own combat organization. Of course, the military department is in charge of combat. So in everyone's impression, only the military department is stationed in the catacombs. However, you should know that the House of Guardians has a resident city envoy. This is actually the House of Guardians' external combat organization. The resident city envoy in the catacombs actually leads a group of martial artists from the House of Guardians and the House of Governors. Of course, under normal circumstances, fighting in the catacombs can't be done with multiple parties. That can easily cause chaos. That's why people from the 3 ministries and 4 houses have to obey the military department's orders when they arrive at the catacombs. Then the central government. The military department is the direct representative of the central government. Old Man Li looked at Fong Ping, a little surprised, and continued, "Under normal circumstances, we equate the central government and the military department. Strictly speaking, among the 3 ministries and 4 houses, the military department is half a level higher. The military department has the right to issue military orders to the other 2 ministries and 4 houses. When necessary, they can even carry out military management. However, the other departments have no right to interfere with the military department's affairs. Of course, if the powerhouses really want to meddle in other people's business, they can't be stopped." Having said that, Old Man Li continued, "The direct combat unit of the Ministry of Education is called Wuan Military." Fong Ping frowned. "This name is inauspicious." Old Man Li said in surprise, pacify the country with martial arts. This is also the Ministry of Education's motto. Spread martial arts all over the world, and the country will prosper, and the people will live in peace, Fong Ping said softly. Since the beginning of time, almost all those who used the title of Peace Marshal as their title never had a good ending. Bai Qi and Li Mu were both heroes of their time, but in the end, they still ended up. As he said this, someone beside him said mildly, dying in the catacombs isn't considered a bad ending. Fong Ping's expression changed. He turned his head immediately and said, Minister, you mean, the path of martial arts is broken, and some things are lost in history. Zhang Tao said quietly, but some things, some historical records, are they true? All of you know that the first time the catacombs were opened to martial artists was in 1920. However, the catacombs had appeared a long time ago. That's not all. You've been to the domain zone in the catacombs, so you should know some things and have discovered some clues. Humans have been active in the catacombs for a long time. In the era of martial arts, we are currently defined as 4 eras or perhaps 5 eras. From near to far, the first era was the current neo-martial era. From 1920 until now, it had been the neo-martial era. As for the second era, it can be traced back to 300 years ago. From 300 years ago to 1920, it can be understood as the Saturn era. Fong Ping could not help but ask, the Saturn era? Yes. Zhang Tao replied, that's the Saturn era. From the beginning of the Saturn era until 1920, when the entire country started spreading martial arts, this period was actually the Saturn era. Of course, the Saturn era did not appear in the world. You can think of Saturn era as the peach blossom land. In the past 300 years, they actually appeared in the world very little. Zhang Tao did not elaborate on the Saturn era. He continued, from 300 years ago to 1,000 years ago, it was actually an era of martial arts that was broken. In this era, the sects were revered. We call it the era of sects, but in reality, the sects had already declined. Although the sects had always existed and led the martial arts for close to 700 years, it was actually the era in which Sino-nation's martial arts declined the fastest. If we trace back further, it would be the ancient martial era. At the mention of the ancient martial era, Zhang Tao pondered for a moment before saying, the reason why I said there were 4 to 5 eras is that even in our classification of the ancient martial era, there should be differences. Above the era of sects, there should be an era of immortals and gods. Before the era of immortals and gods, I think it could be truly called the ancient martial era. From the first day martial arts appeared to the appearance of legends in the later stages, this should be the true ancient martial era. The beginning of the era of immortals and gods was just a group of powerful ancient martial arts powerhouses who were unwilling to live in obscurity. So they started an era of domination. Zhang Tao gave a brief explanation, then smiled and said, I'm telling you all this just to tell you that some of the historical records might not be true. Whether Bai Qi, Li Mu, and the others were ordinary generals or some powerful martial arts powerhouses, no one knows for sure. These people have passed away and cannot be traced back. However, I'd rather believe that these people died during the conquest of the catacombs. The catacombs have existed throughout the history of Earth's civilization. I can only say that from 1920 onwards, the passageway between the catacombs and Earth began to recover. Before that, it had always been in a semi-closed period. Fong Ping's interest was piqued. He smiled and said, Minister, there should be a passageway in Star Town, right? There isn't. Fong Ping was stunned for a moment. With a look of astonishment, he said, it can't be. If there isn't a passageway, how are the people of Star Town going to the catacombs? Previously, it was said that Sino Nation has 24 passageways, but now we only see 23. You know quite a lot. Zhang Tao smiled and said, Star Town can be said to have one, but also not have one. It's true that they don't have a passageway to the outer realm, but they do have a passageway that leads to Mount Royal Sea. Or rather, it's just a path. You have to know that the so-called catacombs passageways all correspond to a realm. The one in Star Town doesn't correspond to a realm, so the entrance that they have control over isn't considered a passageway. Sino Nation does have 24 passageways, but the last passageway isn't the one in Star Town. in the hands of the evil sect? Fong Ping's expression changed slightly. Zhang Tao could not help but laugh. How is that possible? If the evil sect really had control over a passageway, I'm afraid they would have started a riot a long time ago. Would it still be like they are now, like rats crossing the street? It's also impossible for us to let the evil sect control a passageway. If these people let the catacombs martial artists invade, wouldn't the world be in chaos? Don't make wild guesses. The evil sect doesn't have control over the passageways. Of course, some of them have public identities in reality. Therefore, the evil sect martial artists might have obtained some catacombs resources. It's even possible that the evil sect has control over one or more storage rings. This is still possible. Therefore, sometimes these people enter the catacombs and take away some important resources without us knowing. There aren't any passageways, but the probability of them having storage rings is not low. Fong Ping wanted to ask where the last passageway was, but after some thought, since it was not in Star Town, nor was it in the hands of the evil sect, then it was obvious who had it. This included the tens of thousands of Wuhan troops, as well as the military forces of other departments and mansions. He had not seen many of them, so they might have made arrangements. Fong Ping did not ask about this anymore. He said softly, "Minister, Sino Nation really doesn't have any information about the evil sect and can eliminate them completely? You and the commander-in-chief are the powerhouses of the pinnacle. Can't you even deal with these clowns? There's no rush. It is impossible for a country like Utopia to exist in reality. Even if it exists, it will be destroyed very soon. Not to mention the fact that the enemy of the catacombs is right in front of us. It's useless. There will always be some people who would rather kneel and wait for death. They would rather stick out their heads and flatter others to chop off their heads than rise up and fight back. The evil sect is a collection of evil thoughts. A collection. The evil sect can't be eliminated, and it's impossible to be eliminated." Zhang Tao sighed softly. Whether it's peace or chaos, evil thoughts will never disappear. Even if you eliminate this batch, a second batch that's even more secretive may soon be born, a third batch. Therefore, our policy and that of other countries is to eliminate them, but not eliminate them. We won't give them a chance to grow stronger, but we won't go out of our way to eliminate them completely either. Moreover, the evil sect has existed for so many years, it's hard to explain some of the deeper things to you. Zhang Tao spoke for a while and finally laughed. Of course, the evil sect is just a minor ailment. It's not important. All these years, it has also served as a training ground for our low-rank martial artists, letting rank 1 and 2 martial artists see blood. In the catacombs, rank 1 and 2 martial artists see blood. Now that society is stable, middle and high-ranked martial artists fight in the catacombs. Low-ranked martial artists rarely commit crimes. Why? Logically speaking, martial artists are all troublemakers. But in reality, have you seen how many low-ranked martial artists have broken the law? Give them a way to vent, and at the same time, give them some deterrence. If they dare to cause trouble, they must be killed. Everything has its own value. Fong Ping nodded. Zhang Tao glanced at him and laughed suddenly. There are 38,000 martial artists in the Wuhan military now, almost all of whom are graduates from martial arts universities. Kid, after graduation, no, you can consider joining the Wuhan military now. In the Wuhan military, 1,000 people form a regiment. If you come, I'll make you a regiment commander. How about that? Fong Ping was not interested at all. He said perfunctorily, "Minister, you think too highly of me. I'm just about to reach rank 7. I can only hack an early-stage rank 7 to death. How can I be a regiment commander of 1,000 people?" Ha! Zhang Tao laughed and said playfully, "Are you looking down on the position of Wuhan military's regiment commander? Do you think you're very powerful? You have to know, 30 years ago, when I achieved rank 9, I became the Minister of Education. It's been 30 years now. 30 years ago, I established the Wuhan military. In these 30 years, there were people from the Education Ministry participating in the previous 9 youth competitions. Every time, there were 1 or 2 people who made it to the finals. Of course, there weren't as many as this year. In the youth competition alone, 15 people from the education ministry entered the restricted zone. Although there were casualties in these years, there were still 10 people who survived. This is only the youth competition. After 30 years, do you think the number of high-ranked martial artists trained by the education ministry would be less than that of martial arts universities? There aren't many soldiers in Wuhan military, less than 40,000, but in a regiment of 1,000 people, which regiment commander isn't a high-ranked. Fong Ping was shocked. After a while, he said, "Minister, are you rebelling?" Bang! Zhang Tao waved his hand casually, and Fong Ping was hit like a flatbread. Beside him, old man Li was like a statue. "I didn't see it." This kid Fong Ping is crazy. He dared to slander the top. Even if he was beaten to death, he would not participate. Because if he did, he would be beaten to death too. Zhang Tao waved his hand casually, beating Fong Ping until he was dizzy. Then he laughed and said, "Watch your mouth. The Wuhan military is not a private army. In reality, we don't need it. To us, all kinds of authority are insignificant. Just like now, I asked you to be the principal of a high school. Do you think it's interesting that you can do whatever you want?" Fong Ping shook his head and got up. He mumbled a few words, then immediately shook his head and said, "I'm not interested. Isn't it clear?" Zhang Tao smiled faintly. "The reason why we established a large-scale army to fight is actually to gather everyone's strength, or to prevent martial artists from being so scattered. When there are more people, martial artists will be everywhere, and it'll be easy to cause trouble. This is a form of control, and also a form of suppression. It doesn't allow martial artists to spread out and cause destruction everywhere. Of course, it's also a form of nurturing. Using the strength of a group to nurture martial artists is faster than martial artists growing alone. Take you, Fong Ping, for example. Without the existence of a martial arts university, you wouldn't have been able to reach where you are now so quickly. Even if you have your secrets, without the strength of a group to support you, I'm afraid you would have died a few times in the catacombs." As he said that, Zhang Tao laughed and said, "Let's get back to the main topic. I won't force you to join the Wuhan military. In reality, I didn't expect you to come and cause destruction. Are you here today to deliver divine weapons?" Fong Ping said gloomily, "Minister, you're too cruel. 5 divine weapons. Divine weapons are only called divine weapons if they can be used." Zhang Tao said seriously, "Weapons are for people to use. If you keep them in your hands and don't let people use them, then what's the point of keeping so many divine weapons? Now, some strategic resources are in short supply. Many high-rank martial artists have died in the catacombs because they lack divine weapons. Fong Ping, since you want to be a leader, you should contribute appropriately. Why do you have to be so calculative?" After saying that, Zhang Tao laughed and said, "Besides, I'm not asking you to contribute for free. Let's not talk about the Yang family. You and your family can live in peace and stability because of these people who are supporting you in silence. Fong Ping, when you don't have the ability, no one expects you to contribute for others. If you can take care of yourself, that's the greatest fortune. When you have the ability, the greater the responsibility. This is not a joke. If you don't care, and I don't care, can the normal people in this world still survive? Maybe you'll say, why am I the only one contributing? In reality, everyone is contributing. It just so happens that you've been caught red-handed this time. Naturally, you have to contribute more. Otherwise, it won't be easy for you." For a peerless powerhouse to say so much to Fong Ping, he was already giving him face. Fong Ping actually understood this, but he was still not very straightforward. He said dryly, "Then, the grandmasters who receive my divine weapons have to write me a thank you letter and send it to MCMAU with great fanfare. Minister, is that okay?" Zhang Tao was stunned. This request really caught him off guard. After a while, Zhang Tao came back to his senses. He smiled and said, "Are you sure?" Cough, cough. "Well, at least prove that I actually had a lot of divine weapons back then. Sure." Zhang Tao smiled faintly. "If you give me a rank 9 divine weapon now, I'll write you a thank you letter and send it to MCMAU personally." "That's fine too." Fong Ping pursed his lips. Forget it. I won't do it. Face is enough, but I won't do it if I lose so much. But then again, Zhang Tao is really thick-skinned. If it were me, I would probably do it too. Of course, it was hard to say. In Zhang Tao's eyes, a rank 9 divine weapon might be similar to an alloy weapon in Fong Ping's eyes, an A-class alloy. If someone gave Fong Ping an A-class alloy weapon now, Fong Ping might not go to thank him personally. It was not something he would be interested in. Fong Ping thought for a while and asked, Minister, it should be easy for people like you to kill rank 7 demons, right? Even if you don't kill them at Imperial Sea, you can just kill them at the Forbidden Sea. It's not that easy. Zhang Tao frowned. We can't kill the demons at Imperial Sea recklessly. Actually, we can't do it at the Forbidden Sea either. People like us won't go to the Forbidden Sea easily either. In the catacombs, the strongest aren't the catacombs humans, but the catacombs demons. If people like us go deep into the Forbidden Sea, there's a risk of dying too. If it's a peaceful era, if we only cultivate martial arts for the sake of becoming stronger, then we'll definitely go deep into the Forbidden Sea to explore. Martial artists must fight. The Forbidden Sea is dangerous, but it also has many opportunities. Maybe it can help us find a new path. Everyone is curious about the depths of the Forbidden Sea. But we're not. We can't die, at least not in such a meaningless way. Those risky actions can't be done easily. If we die in the Forbidden Sea, then it'll be troublesome. Just like the one from the Yang family. Fong Ping mumbled. Zhang Tao scolded. Don't talk about the pinnacle behind their backs. Watch your mouth. You can hate the Yang family. You can go against them. You can even look down on the Yang family's descendants for being short-sighted. However, you can't deny the achievements of an old senior who has been guarding Mount Imperial Sea for hundreds of years. Whether it's selfish or public, the sacrifices he has made for humanity are unimaginable and unsurpassable. Any pinnacle, before they betray humanity, is a hero of humanity. Fong Ping, this is the first warning and also the last. Senior Yang isn't the same as Yang He and the others. Even if he goes to the bounded boundaries, that's his freedom. We're only angry that he didn't inform us, causing the Tian'an catacombs to fall. However, no one can deny his contributions. You, Fong Ping, don't have the right to do so. Zhang Tao's tone was much harsher, no longer as amiable as before. Fong Ping said softly, I know, I didn't mean it that way. Zhang Tao's expression softened a little. He continued, toward senior martial artists, you must maintain a certain amount of respect. It doesn't matter if the other party is on good terms with you or not. As an adult, etiquette is essential. Yes, I respect senior martial artists very much. Is that so? Respect means calling a pinnacle old Zhang behind his back? Respect means speaking rudely to an old man who's even older than your grandfather? Fong Ping was dumbfounded. Old Zhang, you're really giving face to the pinnacle, eavesdropping every day. Does the pinnacle's strength allow you to eavesdrop? Zhang Tao said with a faint smile, You're not a pinnacle yet, not even a high rank. I'll wait for you to beat me up when you're a pinnacle. However, before you reach this level, you can act like a grandson in front of me honestly. In reality, my grandson is older than you. I don't care if you have one more grandson. The corner of Fong Ping's mouth twitched. It sounded like a curse, but there was no way he could refute it. Old Zhang's grandson was indeed older than him. Beside him, Old Man Li sighed. Fong Ping was lucky to act like a grandson. He was almost Fong Ping's grandfather, and Old Zhang was even prepared to be his father. Zhang Tao did not continue. He was very busy. If it were not for the 5 divine weapons, he would not have time to talk to Fong Ping. After a while of digression, Zhang Tao said quickly, You brought the divine weapons? Why are you so polite? Give me a few more? At this moment, Fong Ping was carrying many divine weapons on his back, including the boots that Old Man Li had dropped. He had brought all 8 divine weapons. They were now wrapped in a large bag. Upon hearing Zhang Tao's words, Fong Ping was shocked. He said immediately, Minister, just 5? I want you to help me modify the rank 8 saber. Modify it into a rank 8 divine weapon that's suitable for me. As for the other two rank 7 sabers, help me modify them too. Combine them into one, and create a divine weapon that's stronger among the rank 7 ones. Zhang Tao's eyebrows twitched. How rich? Now that he had smacked this kid to death, would he not have earned a fortune? Thinking about it, Zhang Tao pondered for a moment and said, Actually, there's no need to prepare 2 offensive weapons. I can help you modify that pair of boots into a pair that's suitable for you to use. It can increase your speed. When you put on the divine weapon boots, your speed won't be slower than a rank 7's. The current you in terms of explosive speed is probably not as fast as a rank 7's. Fong Ping's gaze flickered slightly. Then I won't combine them. Minister, you can modify a pair of boots, a rank 7 saber, a rank 8 saber. Zhang Tao smiled faintly. This is a very laborious task. As for the handling fee, Fong Ping was stunned once again. You still want to charge me a handling fee? More than an hour later, Fong Ping walked out of the education ministry. He turned around and glanced at the education ministry. Fong Ping murmured, You eat people up without spitting out the bones. It's just a modification. You charge me 1 caddy of life essence. Old Manly said lazily, It's not a loss. Modifying 3 divine weapons isn't that easy. If it were someone else, they wouldn't be able to modify them either. Fong Ping sighed. Forget it. In the future, he would stay away from old Zhang until he reached the pinnacle. This old man was too black-hearted. They did not talk about this anymore. Fong Ping was currently wearing a pair of incomparably handsome combat boots. He stared at the combat boots for a moment and smiled. Instructor, let me try out my speed. Let's see if it can really increase my speed. As soon as he finished speaking, all that was left was an afterimage that had yet to dissipate. Fong Ping, on the other hand, had already appeared hundreds of meters away in an instant. At this moment, Fong Ping's face was filled with excitement. So fast. Of course, the consumption was also huge. A lot of mentality and vitality had been depleted in an instant. However, that speed just now had surpassed the speed of sound. At this moment, Fong Ping could be considered to have truly experienced the speed of a high-rank powerhouse. However, with such a huge consumption, it was no wonder that those high-rank powerhouses would not continue to unleash outbursts. They could not, but Fong Ping could, as long as his body could withstand the pressure of such high speed. However, this kind of speed that surpassed the speed of sound put a lot of pressure on the body. If it continued for a long time, his internal organs would not be able to withstand it. Other than the boots, Fong Ping wore a saber on his waist that was similar to a flurry saber. However, outsiders did not know that there was a rank 8 saber hidden in his vitality gate. That thing was used as a trump card. Fong Ping had already thought it through. The rank 7 saber would be used for daily combat, and the rank 8 saber would be used to nurture the saber. He was even looking forward to the rank 8 saber that had been nurtured in his vitality gate. The moment he unsheathed the saber, would he be able to kill a rank 8 with 1 slash, just like Oldly? A rank 8 saber needs to be nurtured all the time. It's lacking in everything but vitality and mentality. Fong Ping had made up his mind. Now, even Old Man Li did not nurture the saber anymore. There was no way to nurture it. The stronger one's ability was the longer one nurtured the saber, the more the effect would not necessarily be much. However, Fong Ping's ability was not considered strong. For him, nurturing the saber was still helpful. Moreover, a typical martial artist would not be able to afford it. 3 divine weapons. Fong Ping was the only one who could afford it. Even if a rank 7 martial artist obtained 3 divine weapons, they would not really use them all. Divine weapons needed to be nurtured. If they could not afford to nurture 3, they would not even have the time to cultivate. However, to Fong Ping, it was not a big deal. He only consumed tens of thousands of cal of vitality every day and up to 1,000 hertz of mentality. 11 million wealth a day. That's only a few billion a year. It's not much. Chapter 560. From the Department of Education to the Martial Arts Association, Fong Ping did not fly or take a car. Walking on the streets with Old Man Li, they watched the people coming and going. Fong Ping sighed softly. Other people go shopping with girls, but I'm with an old man. Sigh. Old man, Lee looked at him. Just like that, he kept looking. This brat was speaking ill of him now, not even bothering to hide it. How arrogant. Fong Ping did not care about the look in his eyes. He looked around and suddenly chuckled. Teacher, do you prefer the environment in the catacombs or the environment here? There is no one who doesn't desire peace. Old man Lee said softly. It's the same even for martial artists. A precarious world, an environment where you can be killed even when you're sleeping. Do you like it? An appropriate amount of hot-bloodedness, casualties, and turmoil could all be endured. However, if one were to be in such an environment day and night, even a martial artist would collapse. Actually, in recent years, some of the martial artists who were permanently stationed in the catacombs had really gone crazy. Many of the high-ranked martial artists that you see today may look gentle and refined on the surface, but in reality, they may be perverts. That can't be helped. That's true. Being in a tense state for a long period of time would indeed cause one to collapse. Fong Ping smiled. Just like him, his time in the catacombs was very short. However, every time he went to the catacombs, he did not sleep or rest. How would he dare to sleep? At every moment, he had to maintain the highest level of vigilance to prevent himself from dying without knowing why. Hearing what you said, I can understand what Minister Zhang said. Perhaps I really should distinguish the Yang family from the Yang family's fallen Juemo. He had guarded Mount Royal Sea for hundreds of years. Facing the threat of the catacombs' pinnacle peak, he was probably under great pressure as well. I don't like the other members of the Yang family, but I can't deny the contributions of that senior. Martial artists should be like this. They should be able to distinguish between gratitude and grudges, but they should also recognize the reality. Fong Ping exhaled and said, It's very difficult for me to meet the Yang family again. Except for that Yang Qing. If he doesn't come looking for me for revenge, then I won't come looking for the Yang family. But if it's him, then don't blame me for destroying the last hope of the Yang family. Old Man Lee narrowed his eyes and said, When martial artists fight, they don't involve their families. Those who brought harm to their family members were evil cults. Before he makes a move against you, you'd better not make a move, even if he's a threat. Actually, you don't have to be afraid of him. I believe you'll catch up to him soon. He's just a rank 7 martial artist. There were plenty of high ranks in the catacombs, and they were all threats. You couldn't kill them all. Just keep your guard up in your heart. Don't foolishly meet up with others, and forget all enmity with a smile. Fong Ping could not help but laugh. I'm not that stupid. The first time I entered the catacombs, my teacher taught me that when I enter the catacombs, I shouldn't trust anyone, not even other humans. Unless it's an official mission or a large-scale battle, we have to remain vigilant if we encounter it in the wild. It's good that you remember this. Old Man Lee said in a low voice, I can't follow you to the restricted zone this time. Be careful. He couldn't completely trust the people in Startown, but he couldn't completely disbelieve them either. Li Yiming and the others from the military were also closely related to Stellar Sky City, so it was best not to trust them easily. As for Du Hong, he was standing on the national level, the overall situation. If he had to choose between sacrificing you or sacrificing the descendants of more than 10 of Stellar Sky City's peerless geniuses, there's no need to guess. His choice would not be to protect you. Don't blame anyone. This is the reality. Of course, a powerhouse in the military like Du Hong, if he had a choice, he would choose to sacrifice himself to protect you. That's also very normal. Therefore, when it comes to Du Hong, you can disagree with his ideals, but don't add to his troubles. Kid, I don't know what will happen when you enter the restricted zone, but unless it's absolutely necessary, you're not allowed to attack your own people. Fong Ping said helplessly, Teacher, am I that kind of person? Honestly, other than the catacombs martial artists, human martial artists, especially martial artists from the same camp, have you ever seen me being ruthless to my own people? Unless the other party has really crossed my bottom line and threatened the lives of me and my family? Old Man Lee glanced at him. After a while, he said, I just don't want you to become a selfish martial artist. Keep your bottom line. Fong Ping, as long as you don't cross that last bottom line, this old man can't represent MCMAU. but at least I can represent myself. When it's necessary, I will always stand by your side. Everything I've said today is not because you've saved me a few times. This old man hopes that you can go further. I hope that one day you can tell the world that you, Fong Ping, have made a great contribution to mankind. I hope that one day you can be respected by the world like a peerless genius. We admire peerless powerhouses not because of their powerful abilities, but because they don't forget about mankind and the greater good. Even though they are powerful, you can lose the small things, but you can't lose the big things. This is my last request for you. As an instructor, I'll remember it. Fong Ping nodded. Everyone had a bottom line. For martial artists, the stronger they were, the more tolerant they were. People like Zhang Tao and Wu Quishan actually had a tolerance that ordinary people did not have. What you said makes sense. Even if you're a rank 3, you can still scold them to their faces. They don't care, and maybe they'll even humbly accept your advice. Tianmu had scolded Zhang Tao in front of a bunch of grandmasters. He had scolded him more than once. Even so, Zhang Tao did not care. Li Zhun's reputation was valuable. He, Zhang Tao, was known as a martial king. Was his reputation not valuable? If he really cared, he could slap Tianmu to death, and no one would say anything. However, Zhang Tao did not. He just laughed it off. As for Fong Ping, he often said that he wanted to beat up this and that, including rank 1 and 2. He even said that he would chop up Tang Fong every day. Did Tang Fong care? If he did care, with his status, no one would speak up for Fong Ping even if he fired him before he became the president of the Martial Arts Society. Lu Fengru might not even care. Tolerance? Fong Ping pondered. It looks like if old Zhang's grandchildren really entered MCMAU, I'll have to show some tolerance. 3 beatings a day. I'll just have to change it to 1 beating a day. June 5th. On the way to Yunming Mountain, a bus was traveling at high speed. On the bus, Jiang Chao said lazily, "What mission, what action plan? Just ask Du Hong and Fong Ping to go. Why do we have to go with them and travel so far?" "Shut up." Su Haoran scolded softly, his expression unfriendly. "I've already told your grandfather everything about you. Your grandfather said that if you embarrass the Jiang family again." Jiang Chao yawned and muttered, "Just beat me to death. If you beat me to death, I won't have to go to the catacombs anymore." "You!" Su Haoran was furious. He had been tormented by this bastard. Su Haoran made up his mind. Just this once. The next time he let a team out, if he still led a team, he might as well kill himself. How many things had happened this time when he led a team? Just as Su Haoran was fuming, Jiang Chao did not continue looking for trouble. He looked around and chuckled. "Fong Ping, come and have a chat. I know a big secret." In the front row, Fong Ping turned his head to look at him and smiled. "What secret? Tell me." "It's about the martial artist who resurrected." Cough, cough. Su Haoran coughed softly. Jiang Chao said disapprovingly, "Grandpa Su, it's nothing. We're just having a chat. We have nothing better to do anyway." Fong Ping's interest was piqued. He asked, "What happened to the martial artist who resurrected?" "Nothing much. After I was beaten up by you guys last time, I went back and looked up the information on the martial artists. You don't say. There are some records in Startown. I didn't care about this before. I only found out later that there was a mountain in Startown, and in the mountain was..." "Enough!" Su Haoran frowned. "They'll find out about these things when they get to Startown. You don't have to show off." After saying that, Su Haoran said to Fong Ping, "I invited you guys to Startown last time, but you guys never went, so this matter was delayed. Of course, it's better not to go now. After all, when you guys reach rank 7, it's still necessary to go to Startown. Going to Startown is a chance for you guys to improve your martial arts. Of course, it might not work. It depends on luck. I'm not saying it now because I want to hide anything. I just don't want to affect you guys. Many martial artists who resurrected have problems in their martial arts cultivation because they know some things in advance." Su Haoran explained briefly, then said, "What Jiang Chao knows is only hearsay. Don't be disturbed by him." Jiang Chao seemed a little bored, but he quickly found a topic to talk about. He chuckled and said, Fong Ping, Startown actually recruited many martial artists as son-in-law. You guys think about it? I'm a direct descendant of the Jiang family. Although it's just me and my family's freaks, there are people in other branches of my family. How about you guys become relatives with me? My cousins are very beautiful. Shut up. Su Haoran really wanted to beat him to death. You're pimping again? Jiang Chao was speechless. Grandpa Su, this is nothing, right? Martial artists aren't saints. Saints also have to get married and have children, right? My Jiang family's bloodline is good. My cousins are beautiful to begin with. Besides, you've seen it. 4 grandmasters in training. If they really become my relatives, what's wrong with that? Or, Jiang Chao looked at him suspiciously. Then at Su Zissou muttering, you want to marry Su Zissou? Su Haoran was so angry that his liver hurt. Without another word, he reached out and waved at him. This time, Jiang Chao shut up, leaning against the chair and not moving. When a rank 9 attacked, even if Jiang Chao had an accessory that could block mentality, it was useless. He was imprisoned in an instant. This time, Su Haoran felt better. Everyone else in Star Town felt better too. This guy could not sit still. He would nag when he had nothing to do. They were all sick of listening to him. Fong Ping and the others did not pay attention to Jiang Chao. Instead, they were looking forward to Star Town. Would there be a chance to improve their abilities in Star Town? What was the relationship between Star Town and martial artists who were resurrected? Why did Suppressing Star City recruit a batch of martial artists who had been resurrected so early? However, since Su Haoran did not say, they did not ask. Soon, they arrived at Yunming Mountain. This was where the capital city military department was located. At the same time, it was also where the entrance to the catacombs was. The entrance to the capital city catacombs was in this area. As soon as Fong Ping and the others arrived, someone came to receive them. It was not Li Daong, but another deputy commander who had recently broken through to rank 9 Guixian. Lord Su, Commander Gua. Both parties exchanged greetings for a while. This time, Old Man Li and the others did not follow. Only Su Haoran sent everyone over. After both parties exchanged greetings, Guixian said, leave them to us. You can leave in 3 days. Then I'll have to trouble Commander Gua. Su Haoran exchanged some pleasantries. After giving everyone a few more reminders, he left quickly. In the capital city military department, there were many powerhouses. He did not have to worry about everyone's safety. After Su Haoran left, Guixian sized up everyone. He probably knew Du Hong and the others, so he did not say anything. Finally, he looked at Yao Qingjun and smiled. Do you know me? Yao Qingjun nodded. He did not say much, but he still said, hello, Vice-Chancellor. It's been 20 years, Guixian sighed. As he beckoned everyone inside, he laughed. How many years has it been since I heard someone call me Vice-Chancellor? 20 years ago, I left first military school and entered the military department. I haven't been back much these years. Today, Vice-Chancellor Nin actually sent me an ungraduated military school. I have to say, this is beyond my expectations. If you come back alive after entering the restricted area this time, you can consider coming to the military department. Fong Ping was a little surprised. He did not expect this person to be the former vice-chancellor of First Military School. It seemed like First Military School's background was not weak. Guixian said nothing. Without waiting for Yao Qingjun's reply, he led everyone into the depths of the military camp. Around them, many military martial artists looked at them, looking a little curious. Guixian did not chase them away. He brought them all the way to a large room that looked like a classroom. He said, this is the place where everyone usually studies. In the next 3 days, the military department will explain everything to you. After 3 days, you can leave. You can also stay here and wait for the others to meet up and enter the restricted area together. Fong Ping could not help but ask, we still need 3 days to study. That's right. There's more to learn this time. Although you won't be involved in some things this time, I still have to tell you. Guixian explained, this includes some of the forces in the restricted area, human knowledge, as well as what you have to do and what you should do after entering the restricted area. Fong Ping did not ask any more questions. Since he was going to teach them, he would naturally know when the time came. Guixian brought everyone to look around the classroom for a while. Then he brought them to the resting area, the eating area, and the training area to look around. A rank 9 powerhouse bringing them around to familiarize them with the camp was considered to be thinking highly of them. Martial artists never procrastinated when doing things. After familiarizing themselves with the situation, Fong Ping and the others returned to the previous classroom very quickly. At this time, there was already someone waiting in the classroom. It was a rank 7 martial artist who looked young. Guixian said a few words to the rank 7 and left quickly. He was not the teacher to teach this knowledge. Having a rank 7 as a teacher also meant that the military department valued this knowledge. After everyone sat down, the Grand Master who looked young in front of the podium smiled and said, "Let me introduce myself. I'm Zhang Peng." Below the podium, Fong Ping said casually. Zhang again, he said it casually. These few days, he could not forget that old Zhang had taken away 5 of his divine weapons. Unexpectedly, Zhang Peng smiled and said, "Yes, my surname is Zhang. The Zhang that you call Old Zhang." The corner of Fong Ping's mouth twitched. Beside him, Li Yiming yawned and said, "That's enough. Aren't you just Minister Zhang's grandson? It's not like I don't know you." Zhang Peng was all smiles earlier, but at this moment, his expression changed in an instant. He reprimanded Li Yiming. "Commander Li, watch your attitude. Many of the people here are your superiors. Who gave you the right to interrupt when your superiors are talking?" When he said that, Fong Ping was stunned for a moment. He asked quickly, "He's a commander?" "Yes, General Fong." Zhang Peng smiled. His attitude toward Fong Ping was not bad. There was no other reason. Both of them were generals, including Du Hong, who also had the rank of general. As for Li Yiming, Yao Qingjun, and the other 2, they all had the rank of commander. In the military department, the distinction between superiors and subordinates was still very clear. They would not overstep the rules. This was because the military department was a place that emphasized rules. If they did not follow the rules here, how could they command others when they were in the catacombs? "He's a commander." Fong Ping looked at Li Yiming in surprise. Then, he straightened his back and looked at Li Yiming with a slightly reserved expression. "So, you're a commander. I thought you were a general. If I had known this, I would have displayed my authority as a superior to you." Li Yiming's expression was ugly. He said nothing. "Did the commander eat from your house?" Zhang Peng, this fellow, dared to expose his secret. He would settle the score with him sooner or later. Zhang Peng ignored him and continued smiling. "In the next 3 days, I will explain some general knowledge about the restricted area to everyone. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask me." Fong Ping asked immediately, "General Zhang, why didn't you go to Wuhan military?" "It's a matter of personal choice. It doesn't mean that I must go to Wuhan military," Zhang Peng said casually. Soon, he said, "Back to the main topic. This time, everyone is going to the restricted area. It's dangerous. Don't be careless." Having said that, Zhang Peng waved his hand casually. A map appeared in front of everyone. Zhang Peng said, "This is a rough map of the restricted area. Because of the restricted area, we haven't explored many areas, so it's not very complete. Take a look first." Fong Ping lowered his head and looked. This time, Fong Ping was a little stunned. Mount Imperial Sea really surrounded the entire restricted area. Mount Imperial Sea was like a halo, covering the entire restricted area. How big was Mount Imperial Sea? Fong Ping simply could not imagine how majestic Mount Imperial Sea was. A territory's width from east to west was probably more than 5,000 li on average. Magic City's catacombs' width was even close to 10,000 li. Of course, some territories were slightly smaller and had fewer cities like Tian'an catacombs. Even if they were all 5,000 li, then 108 territories, 270,000 meters, 540,000 li in circumference. This was a mountain that might be man-made. On Earth, the longest mountain range was less than 20,000 li long. Using Mount Imperial Sea as the area of the restricted area, how much was it? Fong Ping's brain turned quickly. He mumbled, "The restricted area is at least more than 5 billion square kilometers. This is too big." In front, Zhang Peng laughed. General Fong has underestimated the size of the restricted area. The restricted area should be more than 6 billion square kilometers. The surface area of Earth is less than 600 million square kilometers. Therefore, the area of the restricted area is more than 10 times the size of Earth. Of course, this is very normal. After all, just the 108 territories are unimaginably big. It's normal that the restricted area is so big. After all, the territories are just the territories, not the core area. Fong Ping shook his head. The restricted area was considered an irregular oval, and this oval's longest width was more than 90,000 kilometers. Even if they kept flying at the speed of sound, more than 1,200 kilometers per hour. In other words, if a powerhouse maintained the speed of sound and wanted to fly from one end to the other, they would need to fly at least 70 to 80 hours. Flying at the speed of sound for 70 to 80 hours, forget about Fong Ping. Even a rank 8 or 9 powerhouse would collapse. A rank 9 powerhouse, flying at the speed of sound for close to 4 days, could only go from one end to the other. Such a huge world. No wonder it could produce so many powerhouses. Fong Ping suddenly asked, "How many people are there in the restricted area?" "Not many, about 10 billion. Zhang Peng laughed. Many places in the restricted area are actually dangerous places. People can't live in them. Although their area is unimaginably big, in terms of population, it's only slightly more than Earth. Often, there will be uninhabited areas of 10,000 li or even larger. Of course, this is only our speculation based on some current information. Maybe there are more people. After all, according to the number of powerhouses, their population should be slightly higher. The restricted area is a little chaotic. The 4 royal courts are only the largest representative forces among them. There are also countless powerhouses occupying the mountains and ruling over them. In the catacombs, the 4 royal courts occupy one side each. There are bordering areas and empty areas. In the empty areas, some new forces will also be born. There are rank 9 powerhouses who set up an independent territory, calling themselves kings and ancestors. There are also absolute powerhouses who occupy a piece of land, establishing dynasties or sections. Some of these forces will listen to the royal court's orders. Some will not care about the royal court's orders, doing as they please. In the restricted area, scuffles often happen. Zhang Peng was still explaining. Fong Ping, on the other hand, was looking at the map, thinking about something. The absolute powerhouses of the world were guarding Mount Yuhai. There were only about 50 absolute powerhouses in the world. This meant that every absolute powerhouse had to rule over a territory of 10,000 li. It was no wonder these absolute powerhouses felt too pressured. 10,000 li? The area was too vast. Sino Nation's east-west length was only about 10,000 li. It was equivalent to one absolute powerhouse guarding a huge mountain range that spanned across Sino Nation's north and south regions. However, Fong Ping did not know, across 10,000 li, these absolute powerhouses could still communicate with each other. If they knew, Fong Ping would despise Wu Chuan and the other rank 9s to death. If they were all rank 9s, they might as well call them fake rank 9s. Back when Fong Ping was in Nanjiang's catacombs, the Jiang family's elder ancestor, Battle King, had communicated with the absolute powerhouses of the nearby areas to suppress the restricted area powerhouses together. Of course, it was also related to the close distance between both sides. Some absolute powerhouses did not straddle 2 territories. There were also absolute powerhouses guarding 2 neighboring territories. Even if Fong Ping did not know, he had a general feeling at this moment. One person guarding a 10,000 li area. The restricted area dared not trespass the outer territory. The power of the absolute powerhouses was evident. On the stage, Zhang Peng was still explaining the general situation to everyone. In the restricted area, the royal courts, dynasties, cities, sects, and family forces were everywhere. Not only that, the restricted area also had the demon clan's forbidden land. The demon clan's forces in the restricted area were also terrifyingly powerful. Chapter 561. On the first day, Zhang Peng spent almost all of his time introducing the forces in the Forbidden Zone. 4 great imperial halls, more than a dozen empires, more than a dozen large sects, of course. Most of them only said a few words and didn't say much about it. In fact, the military only had a superficial understanding of the restricted areas. On the 6th of June, Zhang Peng introduced the destination to everyone. In the classroom, Fang Ping and the others listened attentively, like primary school students. On the big screen, a map of the Forbidden Zone appeared. Zhang Peng pointed at a small red that was almost invisible and said, "This is our destination this time. The king's battlefield." Jiang Chao could not help but ask, "Isn't it a domain? I heard it has something to do with the domain." Zhang Peng glanced at him and said with a slight frown, "Don't just listen to hearsay. The domain you mentioned may be related to this place, but everything has not been confirmed yet. I can only say that some of the situations here are related to the domain." Fang Ping glanced at Jiang Chao. Fine. Next time he would not believe everything this guy said. The information was inaccurate, and it was mixed with some of his own guesses. It was unreliable. For example, the last time when Qin Fengqing and Tai Tu had recklessly charged into the domain, it was also related to this fellow's half-baked intelligence. Zhang Peng ignored him and continued. The formation of the King battleground is very complicated. Rumor has it that it has something to do with the 2 leaders of the catacombs, or the 2 kings that some people know. Monster Life and the 2 founders of the Monster Plant's royal court, the 2 emperors. These 2 were recorded in some books in the catacombs. However, in reality, they had disappeared for many years. It was uncertain whether they were still alive. Perhaps he was alive, perhaps he had fallen. However, humans and the catacombs have been at odds for many years, and there's no news to prove that these 2 are still alive. I'll continue talking about the King battlefield. There are 2 types of rumors about it. Firstly, this was a forbidden area that the 2 kings had created when they led their subordinates to slaughter. It was also the place where their final battle took place. That was why it was called the King's battlefield. Secondly, speaking up to this point, Zhang Peng pondered for a moment before saying, "Secondly, this place may be related to human martial artists." No, it should be said that this forbidden area was definitely related to human warriors. As early as the era of the 2 kings, there were human martial artists who had participated in the catacombs war here. This place might be the ruins left behind by the battle between the 2 kings and the human experts. However, due to the current lack of information, it was impossible to accurately deduce. In the battlefield of the 2 kings, there are some remnants of human warriors, some corpses. However, whether they were human warriors who were coerced to participate in the battle between the 2 kings, or explorers who came later, or a battle between humans and the 2 kings, there is no way to guess. Fang Ping could not help but ask, "There are ruins left behind by humans here?" "Of course." Zhang Peng laughed. "Otherwise, why would the catacombs allow us to enter this place?" That was because there were some areas that only human cultivators could enter. Since they could not enter, they could not obtain any benefits. Now that we're inside, they can kill us and reap the benefits. This was the reason why the catacombs powerhouses had reached an agreement with human powerhouses to allow humans to enter the battleground. Otherwise, can we really barge into the forbidden area inside the Forbidden Zone? I see. Fang Ping nodded. Then, how many years has it been since the era of the 2 kings? In the past, Fang Ping had read a book that recorded the era of the 2 kings. It was not long before the catacombs resurrection passageway was opened. Fang Ping's memory was not too bad. He added, "I've read a book before. It was recorded in the Demon Emperor's calendar year 3882 that the 2 kings began to appear in the records. Up to year 4312, they had been fighting for more than 400 years. Year 4312 recorded that both sides had stopped fighting. The year 4895 records the opening of the passage of rebirth. This happened more than 600 years later. From the era of the 2 kings to the opening of the passage of rebirth, it has spanned 1,000 years of history." Zhang Peng smiled and said, "Don't ask, because we don't know either." Now, the catacombs no longer use the Demon Emperor calendar, but the God Continent calendar. It's year 1040 of the God Continent calendar now. Fong Ping said in surprise. The era has changed? Then the Demon Emperor calendar will open the resurrection passage. I'm not sure. Maybe it's been opened before. No, it must have been opened before. Otherwise, humans wouldn't have left their remains in the catacombs. After saying that, Zhang Peng smiled and said, "You don't have to pay special attention to these things. Even if we can trace back to the Demon Emperor era, so what? In reality, it was impossible to trace back. Were there other eras before the God Continent calendar? I don't know. Did the Demon Emperor calendar coincide with the God Continent calendar? I don't know. There are some things that maybe only the pinnacle of the catacombs would know. Even the pinnacle of humans might not know. But will they tell us everything?" Fong Ping said. That is to say, they are not sure how long the gap between us and the two kings is. If the God Continent calendar is a continuation of the Demon Emperor era, then the gap is at least more than 1,000 years? Yes. More than 1,000 years ago, maybe even earlier, the two kings might have fought with humans. Zhang Ping said. Maybe the two kings fought among themselves. Humans might also be explorers. This is not easy to be sure. We can't be sure that humans and the two kings fought just because we found human remains and remains. I understand. I have no more doubts. General Zhang, please continue. Zhang Peng continued. I won't go into too much detail about the origin of the King battlefield. Let's talk about our mission and purpose in going to the King battlefield. The biggest goal is to break through ourselves and advance to a high rank. The King battlefield is very mysterious. It's so mysterious that even after countless years of exploration, there are still countless good things. Some places, after you've finished exploring, may appear in a completely different place. The terrain there is not unchanging. Instead, it's affected by a kind of force, changing all the time. Therefore, although I've been there before, I can't give you more information. It's the same for the catacombs. You can only explore and search for it yourself. As long as you can find something good, you can quickly seal your Sanjiao gate, quickly increase your mentality, and even forge a golden body. Of course, it's also very dangerous there. I don't have to explain this. The four main courts, more than 10 dynasties and sects will all send people there. Moreover, they have more people than us. Every time they go, they will send hundreds of people, 10 times more than us. However, they don't get along. There's a lot of internal strife. In their eyes, humans are only a force, not the common enemy of the catacombs. To treat us, as long as we're not from the Monster Plant clan, it's almost the same as how they treat people from other forces. To let humans enter, on one hand, it's to open up some ruins. On the other hand, it's also to train these catacombs geniuses. To give everyone a more fair environment to kill each other, it's a better way to filter out the real prodigies. Jiang Chao said hurriedly, I heard from my pervert that he's there too. How can we guarantee that we're not with them? I don't dare to go to a place where rank 7 powerhouses are. Zhang Peng and Xiaodong said, don't worry about this. Rank SXS have their own rank 6 area. Rank 7s, rank 8s, and even some weaker rank 9s have their own areas. The King battleground is divided into many layers. Rank SIXS are only at the outer layer. Everyone enters different areas. Between each area, there's a boundary wall, blocking the communication between the two places. Of course, at this time, Zhang Peng said solemnly, although there's a boundary wall, there might be a weak spot in the boundary wall. When the time comes, you can break through the boundary wall to the rank 7 area. If rank 7 martial artists discover the weak spot, they might also enter the rank 6 area. There are very few weak spots, but that doesn't mean there are none. This has happened in the past. However, rank 7 martial artists usually won't come here. First, there aren't many weak spots in the boundary wall. It's hard to find them. They don't have the time to look for them. It's not worth it. Second, because the terrain is complicated, even if they come here, they might not be able to find you. The things in the rank 6 area won't be of much help to them, so they won't come here specifically. I'm saying all this just in case. Also, when some rank 6 martial artists break through and enter rank 7, you have to be more careful. They won't leave immediately after they break through. After some people break through, they'll look for the other party's geniuses to kill. This also exists. Everyone nodded. Everyone understood this point. Zhang Peng continued. The first goal is to break through. The second goal is to kill more catacombs geniuses, especially Monster Plant Clan geniuses. Many of the city lords in the Outland are actually born from these geniuses. In the Outland, it's rare for us same-rank martial artists to have a fair fight. However, when we get there, it's relatively much fairer. Because of the existence of the boundary wall and the agreement between both parties, no high ranks will enter the rank 6 area through the entrance. At this time, we have to do our best to kill those genius martial artists. Of course, they're very strong. Some of them are even the Paragon's direct disciples. Don't ever underestimate the Catacombs Paragon's direct disciples. Zhang Peng said seriously. The human Paragon is very stressed and very busy. They're guarding Mount Royal Sea, so they can't teach and teach everyone. However, the Catacombs Paragon is much more relaxed. As long as they don't leave the restricted area, they don't have to worry about any stress. Even the human Paragon dares not cross Mount Royal Sea. That's why they have more time to teach their students and juniors. You can imagine how powerful these martial artists are. Don't ever put yourselves in their shoes. As soon as he said this, the few people in Star Polaris City felt a little embarrassed. By saying this, did he mean that all of them were fake Paragon's descendants? Zhang Chao said sheepishly, no matter how strong they are, can they be stronger than Fang Ping? Zhang Peng laughed. That's hard to say. Fang Ping is not weak, but to say that he can subdue all the catacombs geniuses, that might not be the case. How many paragons are there in the catacombs? The 4 majestic houses, dynasties, sects, not to mention the 108 foreign geniuses. There are also many genius martial artists themselves. To be honest, Fang Ping is also considered one of the top ones among them. However, to say that he is invincible would be exaggerating his strength. Fang Ping, when you get there, don't be careless. Fang Ping nodded with a serious look on his face. He was joking. He was not stupid. Not to mention these rank SAXS. Many of the mentality-vitality fusion were just one step away from breaking through. Once he got there, he might encounter rank 7s within a few days, and a whole bunch of them too. No matter how arrogant he was, he would not be so arrogant that he would really look down on rank 7s. The big beard and the black-robed woman from before were, because they were beginners. Moreover, these rank 7s did not really come with the intention to fight to the death. However, when they arrived at the king's battleground, it was obviously not that simple. It was not like they were fighting a friendly match. Other than these 2 objectives, everyone actually has another objective. Of course, it doesn't have much to do with you guys. This is mainly a mission aimed at those high-rank martial artists in the inner area. Zhang Peng thought for a while and still said, thirdly, see if you can find any traces left behind by the 2 kings. Here in the catacombs, we have been looking for the 2 kings. The 2 kings may have fallen, but the catacombs said that they are in deep sleep. They swore that they are in deep sleep, but it is also possible. If they really awaken the 2 kings, then humans will be in trouble. Legend has it that the king's battleground is where the 2 kings had their final battle. If they are in deep sleep, then these 2 people may be at the king's battleground. Fang Ping could not help but interrupt again. There are a lot of paragons in the catacombs. If they are really there, I'm afraid they would have been discovered long ago. Zhang Peng laughed. Let me finish. The king's battleground is very special. It's so special that I said before that it is only a weak rank 9's area at most. Do you know why? Duh! Fang Ping criticized in his heart, but he did not say it out loud. I don't understand it. How would I know? In the king's battleground, because the battle back then was too intense, maybe there were even paragons who fell in it. In addition, a large number of powerhouses fell, which led to the birth of a new path formed by countless powerhouses' origin and mentality. New path. You can think of it as a martial artist's martial path. Of course, the king's battleground is very complicated. It is a combination of countless martial paths. All martial artists who walk their own path can't go there. Once they go there, their martial path will conflict. Even the paragons can't resist it, and their own path will collapse. Because too many powerhouses have fallen there, so many that the combination of their mixed martial paths can almost affect these people's path, causing their own ideals to waver and their martial path to collapse. Therefore, all martial artists who walk their own path can't go near the king's battleground. Therefore, at most, only weak rank 9s will go there. Jiang Chao looked terrified. Then we won't be affected if we go there, right? At this moment, Zhang Peng's expression was very pleasant. After a while, Zhang Peng said dryly, You walk your own martial path first. Today, among the Sino Nation rank 9s, there are only more than 10 rank 9s who have walked their own martial path. Most of them haven't really found their own path, so they're not clear about their future. When I said more than 10 people, it was just an empty reference. There might not be that many. However, at this point, Zhang Peng laughed. However, there are also exceptions. For example, Dean Li can't go there. Although strictly speaking, he is only a rank 8, but Dean Li's 10,000 paths are 1, and his path is clear. The martial path has already been set. At this time, even if Dean Li could go to the king's battleground, he would not go there. Because once he goes, the mixed martial path's origin will interfere with him, and it will easily cause him to collapse. This is also the reason why the king's battleground has not been explored by powerhouses all these years. Not only that, some people even speculate whether it is because the two kings are in deep sleep here, and their own path is too powerful, interfering with everything, causing other martial artists who have walked their own path to be unable to go near. No matter what, you guys don't have to care because you guys have no way of reaching this level. Some weak rank 9s have not reached this level, so they are the main force to explore the king's battleground. Fong Ping asked, then, are there rank 9 humans exploring inside? Yes. As Zhang Peng said that, he looked at the few people from Star Town. After a while, he said, however, there are very few rank 9s exploring. Let me put it this way, a paragon has a rank 9 quota, so it has nothing to do with you guys, and it has nothing to do with us. Exploring the two kings is an absolute peaks matter. Some people from Star Town are there, on our side. My grandfather didn't let anyone go, neither did Commander Li, because it's not worth it for a rank 9 to die there. Fong Ping understood the deeper meaning of these words. The people from Star Town were too idle. They had nothing to do, so they could explore wherever they wanted. Even if they died there, it would not affect the overall situation. However, the other human rank 9s were all guarding the catacombs, so they could not be used casually in this aspect. If they died there, it would be a huge loss. Breaking through oneself, killing catacombs prodigies, searching for the two kings' traces. Anything else? Yes. Zhang Peng laughed. There is one last thing. Of course, this is extremely rare. So rare that it might not happen even once in a few decades. However, you guys must pay attention. In the land of kings, the most precious thing is not something that can enhance your mentality, nor is it something that can seal your Sanjiao gate. It's also not some remnant ancient combat techniques or divine weapons. In the land of kings, whether it is the rank 6 area or other areas, there is only one precious thing. What is it? Fong Ping's eyes lit up. The token. Zhang Peng said in high spirits, the token. The token on some ancient corpses. Previously, when I said that the land of kings and the boundaries might be related, it's because of this. Ancient token? Yes. Zhang Peng thought for a while before saying, I have never seen it before. Actually, most people have not seen it before, but there are still people who have found this kind of special token on some of the corpses of the dead by chance. This kind of token is related to the boundaries. Back then, Commander had obtained one. Li Han Song, who had been silent all this while, suddenly said, a token that can open the boundary wall. Yes. Among the martial artists who participated in the battle in the Land of Kings, were there martial artists from the boundaries? Should be. Of course, it's hard to say. I'm not sure about the situation in the boundaries. Actually, no one is clear about it. It could also be the same as us, finding a token on an elder's body. These tokens are proof of identity. They can open the boundary wall, and enter the boundary's inner area. Of course, they are very rare, almost impossible to ask for. Moreover, some tokens are also useless. Back then, Commander had obtained one, entered the boundaries, and obtained some opportunities. As for the origin of these tokens, whether they were left behind by the people of the boundaries or obtained by people like us who came later, we can't be sure. When Zhang Peng said this, Li Hansong's expression changed. There was actually a token that allowed one to enter the domain in the king-level battlefield. What did this mean? It meant that someone might have obtained the key to his house. Also, in the land of kings, those human martial artists who died, what was the relationship between them and the boundaries? People from the boundaries? Their subordinates back then? Or was it a token obtained accidentally by someone who came later and then left in the land of kings? Or was it simply the place where they and the catacombs powerhouses fought? Thinking of this, Li Hansong suddenly looked at Yao Qingjun. Not only Li Hansong, Fang Ping also could not help but look at him. The ruins that Yao Qingjun conjured, could it be the land of kings? If it was, then it was 2F** king coincidental. Yao Qingjun also frowned slightly. It could not be. However, the ruins that he conjured at least had a general appearance. Whether it was or not, they should know when they went there. If it was really the land of kings, then many things could be traced back. Could it be that they were really powerhouses who died in battle there? Resurrected now? The ones who waged war with them back, then were the catacombs 2 kings? The few of them let their imagination run wild, and for a moment, they were a little distracted. Fang Ping, on the other hand, swallowed his saliva. F***CK. If this was true, then they were done for. If he went, should he find a corpse and say it was his? At this moment, Zhang Peng was still narrating. Ancient tokens were extremely rare. After so many years, they had encountered almost only a few. Even if they did, some of them were already useless and useless. It could not be helped. Everyone knew that this could be the key to opening the boundary zone, but different boundary zone had different keys. Li Jun had really gotten lucky, and that was how he had opened it. However, on Sino Nation side, they had also obtained 1 or 2 tokens in recent years. Until now, they were still unused. Some of them were because the passageways in some places had not been opened, so they could not go to the boundary zone. Some of them were because the boundary zone was too dangerous. Going there was almost certain death. More often than not, you were already done for before you even reached the boundary zone. At this moment, Li Hansong suddenly said, "That can a paragon forcefully open the boundary zone's boundary wall?" No. Then, Li Hansong frowned slightly and did not ask further. Instead, he thought of someone, the Yang family's patriarch. He had gone in. Could it be that the Yang family's patriarch had obtained such a token? It just so happened that it was the Tiannan Catacombs token, so he could not help but enter the boundary zone, and finally died inside? If he died, then why did Li Jun not die, and even take away some of the opportunities? Besides, when Yang Daohong and his group went to the boundary zone that day, although they also had tokens on them, they were not from the boundary zone, but Star Town City's token. Then why did Yang Daohong and his group have the confidence to enter? How did the Yang family's patriarch enter? How did Yang Daohong and his group prepare, and how could they enter? Zhang Peng said that even the paragon could not enter. Li Hansong was at a loss. As for Fang Ping, he seemed to have thought of something and frowned slightly. The Yang family's patriarch might not have entered through the token. Not only the Yang family's patriarch, but Yang Daohong and the others also did not have a token. He was sure that Tai Mu and the others did not have one. Tai Mu wanted to use human vitality to break through the barrier, but obviously he did not succeed. Since Tai Mu had done so, it meant that someone had done it before, entering through the impact of vitality. Or was it aura? Could it be Tai Tu's accomplice? Resurrected martial artist? Or maybe it's only the people from Star Town who can enter, but others can't, because the people from Star Town are the descendants of the people from the boundary zone? Then Tai Tu and the others, could they be Star Town's patriarch? Fang Ping gave Li Hansong and the others a strange look, then looked at Jiang Chao and the others. You guys are not family, are you? Star Town recruited resurrected martial artists. Could it be that they were also looking for their own family? Mother asterisk her. What a complicated ethical relationship. Who was the patriarch? He was getting dizzy. Chapter 562. For 3 days, Zhang Peng introduced the situation of the restricted area to everyone. Although everyone was only going to the land of kings this time, as long as these people came back alive, there was hope for them to become grandmasters. At this point, they could be considered as the backbone of humanity. Informing them about the restricted area would be helpful in the future too. In the afternoon of June 7th, Zhang Peng ended his class. In the afternoon, Li Daong, who did not appear before, also appeared. In the classroom, Li Daong looked at everyone, especially Fong Ping, and said with a serious expression, "This time, Du Hong will be the leader of the team when we go to the land of kings. Everyone must listen to Du Hong's orders." Of course. Li Daong's tone was a little heavier. He said in a low voice, "You can choose not to listen. If you don't listen, then leave the team. I won't force this. Some lone wanderers are not suitable for team battles. This is also normal. However, as long as you are in the team, you must listen to military orders. Once you violate military orders, you will be severely punished." Everyone did not speak. Li Daong looked at Fong Ping again and said in a serious tone, "Fong Ping, did you hear me clearly?" Fong Ping was speechless. He nodded and said, "I heard you clearly. Why do you keep looking at me? I didn't say I was going against Du Hong." July 3rd, everyone gather at capital city. On the 3rd, we will depart. On the 4th, enter the restricted area and enter the land of kings. As Li Daong said, he continued, "In the land of kings, there is no time limit. You can stay as long as you want. However, don't stay too long. You have entered the land of kings once. In the future, you can enter again. There is no more quota limit. However, staying there for a long time is not good for you. That is a place where powerhouses have fallen. The origin is mixed. If you stay for a long time, it will easily affect your understanding of the martial arts path in the future. Therefore, as long as you break through to rank 7 or feel that you have reached your limit, you can come out through the entrance. At the entrance, each of us has a rank 9 standing guard to bring you back to Earth. Remember, don't run around. Other than the entrance, although there are boundary walls in other places, Zhang Peng also said that the boundary walls have weak points. Catacombs martial artists can leave through the weak points of the boundary walls. You can't. If you accidentally enter the other areas of the restricted area, you will definitely die. Lastly, I will say one more thing. There are very few human martial artists. No matter how much hatred you have before, after entering the restricted area, a fight between humans, we can settle it on the ground. We can settle it in the arena. We absolutely cannot let the martial artists of the Forbidden Zone laugh at us. Humans weren't as strong as restricted zone martial artists, so infighting in front of restricted zone martial artists would be detrimental to the entire human race. The other families will also remind us about this. I don't want such a person to appear in the Chinese martial artists. Of course, we must take necessary precautions. We can't be so naive to think that we're all on the same side as humans. Li Daong gave a brief speech and announced the end of the class. At this time, everyone could go home and find their own mothers. In the next month, everyone could make some preparations. As for weapons, pills, and energy stones, the army did not provide them. It was good enough that they gave you a chance. The people from the military department would definitely receive subsidies. Needless to say, there was no need to mention those from Stellar Sky City. As for those from martial arts universities, the Department of Education would provide some subsidies, but not too much. They would have to rely on themselves to prepare the rest. Fong Ping was just about to leave when Li Daong suddenly waved at him. Fong Ping felt a little helpless, but he still walked over. In the corner, Li Daong stared at Fong Ping for a while, pondered for a moment, and said, "When you go in this time, we don't expect you to take care of anyone. Martial arts cultivation is your own business. However, if the situation permits, the government still hopes that you can contribute. Besides, it's also to ease the relationship with Stellar Sky City." Also, Li Daong said in a low voice, Remember, it's best to protect the lives of the two from the Li family and the one from the Jiang family. There are many descendants in the absolute peak. It doesn't matter if a few die, but in this generation of the Jiang family, there are currently only 2 males. As for the commander-in-chief, he's still young and has few descendants. Li Yiming is also one of the 3 males in the 3rd generation. Grandpa, he also dotes on his grandson. I'm not asking you to protect them, but you should think about it. If you can save their lives, it'll be beneficial to you too. The Li family has 2 absolute peaks, and the Jiang family also has a powerhouse among the absolute peaks. If you save them, you'll be on good terms with 3 top-notch absolute peaks, including Minister Zhang. The 4 top-notch absolute peak powerhouses in Sino Nation will all remember your favor. Even if they don't say it, they'll naturally support you at critical moments. Fong Ping, there are some things that you need to think about. Martial artists don't just blindly fight and fight to the end. Fong Ping heard that and laughed. Commander-in-Chief, I'm just a small rank 6. You think too highly of me, Li Daong chuckled. Don't belittle yourself. Everyone has seen your performance these few years. However, you also have the common flaws of young people. Pride, arrogance, impulsiveness. To martial artists, these aren't considered too big of a flaw. However, at critical moments, with your troublemaking personality, without the support of powerhouses, how far can you go? Fong Ping felt wronged. I never caused trouble. Li Daong glanced at him, then looked at him again. After a while, he said, I've said it, but this is also on account of the fact that you turned the situation around during the trip to Tiannan. During the trip to Tiannan, everyone remembers your favor. Even if they don't say it, they still remember it in their hearts. However, Fong Ping, don't always count on some favors. What can you do? You're a smart person. You know what you need to know. Fong Ping nodded again. Although Li Daong's presence was not strong, he was still on Fong Ping's side. Fong Ping knew this. Previously, when the Yang family made things difficult, Li Daong did not ask for anyone's permission and directly wanted to imprison Yang He. It was actually not simple. After all, Yang He was one of the current patriarchs of Polaris City's 13 families. Although Li Daong was 1 rank higher than him, it was still a huge risk to imprison Yang He. However, on that day, Li Daong still made a decision quickly and decisively. Making such a decision and not coming up with a solution after the matter was also related to Fong Ping. During the Tiannan Catacombs trip, Li Daong was also one of the people in charge. That time, Fong Ping's contributions could not go unnoticed when they were able to kill a large number of Tiannan Catacombs powerhouses, and the Sino Nation Grandmasters won a complete victory. He even indirectly saved the lives of many Grandmasters. This was the main reason why Li Daong was so decisive to imprison Yang He. Now, he reminded Fong Ping because he felt that this kid was too good at stirring up trouble. Who knew when he would cause a huge problem, and MCMEU might not be able to protect him. If he could sell a favor to a few paragons this time, then in Sino Nation, if the 4 top paragons wanted to protect Fong Ping, even if all the other elders in Polaris City came forward, they might not be able to do anything to Fong Ping. This benefit might not be as small as Fong Ping breaking through to Grandmaster himself. Li Daong did not say anything else. He waved his hand and signaled Fong Ping to leave. After Fong Ping left, Zhang Peng walked over. He glanced at the leaving crowd and smiled. Commander, you have high hopes for this guy? Li Daong said calmly. In times of great chaos, heroes will always emerge. Commander and Minister are both heroes of that era. Now, in times of chaos, who can stir up the storm and show their brilliance again? Now, the older generation of martial artists are old. How many of them can step into the top? Fong Ping might have a chance. He's a paragon? Zhang Peng was slightly moved. Li Daong really thought highly of Fong Ping. To be honest, in today's human world, there were many grandmasters below 30 years old. In the previous youth championships, there were still many people who were below 30 years old. There were still more than 10 of them. It was not only the members of the youth championships. Some people, although they did not participate in the youth championships, had also stepped into grandmaster level. Fong Ping was not even a grandmaster now. It was not easy for a rank 9 to think so highly of him. Even Zhang Peng. He was actually only 29 years old this year, but he did not see Li Daong think highly of him. He still had a paragon grandfather. Zhang Peng stared at the backs of Fong Ping and the others as they got into the car. He was slightly distracted. Soon he said, "Interesting. I'm looking forward to him achieving rank 7 quickly." Li Daong smiled and did not reply. There were some things that he did not want to say, and there was no need to say. Compared to the descendants of these paragons, he thought more highly of Fong Ping. Not only Fong Ping, but the other martial arts universities as well. There was no other reason. Their mentality was different. Martial artists did not have to be arrogant, but at least they had to have a bit of a high mentality. Zhang Peng did not stay in Wuhan military. Why? He was afraid of others gossiping. He was afraid of being shrouded in his grandfather's shadow for the rest of his life. Perhaps he had never thought of surpassing his grandfather and replacing him. What about Fong Ping? Fong Ping might seem unreliable, but at least he was full of drive. He had just achieved middle rank and dared to say that MCMU would be surnamed Fong. At that time, Wu Quishan was a rank 8. A rank 8 could not be compared to a rank 4. Not only did Fong Ping say it, but he was also doing it. Moreover, he almost did it. This was what it meant to be capable. Fong Ping, as a rank 6, dared to say that he would beat the Paragons the next day. Even if he was bragging, he dared to do it. People like Zhang Peng had probably never thought of this goal in their entire lives. They had never thought that they would one day reach the Paragons. If they did not even dare to think about it, how could they achieve it? In the car. Naturally, Fong Ping did not know about the conversation between Li Daong and Zhang Peng. At this moment, Fong Ping was being harassed by Jiang Chao. This fatty had not been idle ever since he got on the car. "Fong Ping, you must bring me along when we reach the King battleground. Let's not take the risk. You've broken through to rank 7. I'll get some good stuff. We'll leave after we have some gains. As for killing the catacombs geniuses, there are a lot of them. How can we kill them all? It's not too late to kill them when we're stronger. There's no rush. Next time when you're in Star Town, don't worry. If you see any girl in the family you like, I'll introduce them to you. You can take your pick." Fong Ping's head hurt. The few people in Star Town looked grim. Su Zissa said impatiently, "Jiang Chao, you're so annoying. I've never seen anyone more afraid of death than you." Jiang Chao said disapprovingly, "So what if I'm afraid of death? Is it against the law to be afraid of death? Those who aren't afraid of death are mostly dead. The remaining ones are kings. Only by not dying can you become stronger. What do you know, you little girl?" Fong Ping was too lazy to explain. He said casually, "We'll see. Remember to bring more life essence." "That's for sure. I'm talking about the money to buy your life when the time comes." Fong Ping said calmly, "Don't count on me for things that don't benefit me. If I get killed, I'll buy my life with money." Jiang Chao did not mind. He grinned and said, "No problem. I'll get more good stuff when I get back." Everyone was speechless. After a while, Fong Ping and the others got out of the car. They did not continue to travel with the others. As soon as they got out of the car, Wang Jinyang said, "I'm going back to NMAU. We'll meet again next month?" "Sure." Yao Qingjun was about to speak when Fong Ping glanced at him and said, "Don't go, old Yao. Follow me to MCMAU. Try to achieve rank 6, and I'll achieve upper stage rank 6 before we enter the restricted area." Yao Qingjun looked at Wang Jinyang and Li Hansong. Seeing that both of them looked calm and thoughtful, he nodded and said, "Okay." On the night of the 7th, Fong Ping, Li Hansong, and Yao Qingjun rushed to Magic City overnight. Wang Jinyang, on the other hand, rushed back to NMAU. He had not been back for a while. Old man Li did not show up. Fong Ping did not know if he had gone back or was walking in the Imperial Palace. He did not care either. June 8th, Fong Ping appeared in MCMAU again. He appeared in the Martial Arts Society. Today's MCMAU students and instructors were full of vigor. The Vice-Chancellor was rank 9, the Dean was first in rank 8, and the President was first in rank 6. MCMAU was not what it used to be. It had reached a golden age. The title of the top elite school was well-deserved. Today's MCMU students would attract envious gazes wherever they went. As soon as Fong Ping returned to the university, the office was flooded with people. The last to arrive was Zhang Yu. When Zhang Yu arrived, he first congratulated Fong Ping for becoming first in rank 6. Then he said, "Fong Ping, the seniors are about to graduate. The university's usual practice is to hold a graduation ceremony every 2 days. What do you think of the arrangements?" Graduation ceremony. Fong Ping was a little distracted when he heard that. Soon, he smiled and said, "Then we'll do it according to the usual practice." "All right, this year's graduates. How many of them are willing to stay in MCMAU?" "Quite a few. In our year, there are currently 4 rank 5s. Other than Chun Wenlong, who will definitely not stay, Qin Fengqing, Liang Fenghua, and I will all stay." Among the rank 4 graduates, there are also 12 who are willing to stay. Fong Ping was a little surprised. Brother Liang has broken through? Previously, among the seniors, there were only 3 rank 5s. Fong Ping did not expect Liang Fenghua to break through rank 5 in the few days he was away. Zhang Yu smiled and nodded. "It's a lot of pressure. There's no other way. Besides, didn't you give everyone some 100 honing fruits? The logistics department can also exchange for 100 honing fruits." Liang Fenghua exchanged for a few. His 5 viscera have been completely honed, and he has just entered rank 5. In the past, there were not many martial arts university students who had entered rank 5. In the previous year, there were 2 rank 5s. This year, there were 4 rank 5s. Not only them, but among the juniors, CLA had also entered rank 5. Other than CLA, there were a few peak rank for martial artists in the juniors who were also about to enter rank 5. Among the sophomores, Fong Ping was already the first in rank 6. Many of them might even enter rank 5 this year. For example, Chun Yunxi, Zhao Lei, Fu Changding. As MCMU became better and better, there were more and more good stuff. These people's breakthroughs were also getting faster. Among the freshmen, they were also improving rapidly. Tang Wen and the other new students were already strong. Now, Tang Wen and a few others had entered rank 3. At the end of their freshman year, it was not easy to reach rank 3. Fong Ping pondered and said, "How about this? When you get back, give me a copy of the current strength statistics of MCMU instructors and students. I haven't paid attention to it for a few days, so I don't know the current situation." The vice-chancellor might not attend the graduation ceremony. He's not out of closed-door cultivation yet. I'll invite Dean Li and the others to attend. You guys have graduated this year. Although you've left the university, you're still part of MCMAU. I hope that the others will have a good future after leaving MCMAU. I'll be counting on your blessings." Zhang Yu smiled and said, "This year's martial sciences examination for new students has ended today. How do you think MCMU's enrollment standards and number of students will be decided?" "Let me see the results first." "All right, give me a list of the most outstanding examinees from all over the country." Fong Ping added, a smile appearing on his face. Old Zhang's 2 grandchildren must be recruited for the Gaokao this year. Everything was handed over to Zhang Yu to handle. After Zhang Yu left, Fong Ping looked at the empty office, slightly lost in thought. The office director was not Zhang Yu. In the past, Chun Yunxi spent most of her time in the office. But now, Chun Yunxi was rarely seen. In the few days that Fong Ping was gone, Chun Yunxi left too. She went to the catacombs. It was not just her. Many people had left too. Many of them were nowhere to be seen. Zhao Xuemei had been gone for 2 months. No one knew if she was dead or alive. They only knew that she had entered the Donglin catacombs and had not come out since. Qin Fengqing had also left. It was said that he had gone to the Beijiang catacombs. There was a big battle in the Beijiang catacombs. No one knew if that guy had gone to take advantage of the situation or join the battle. He could not see any of the grandmasters in the university. When he came back to take a look, they were all in closed-door cultivation. Without exception, Old Man Li could not be found. That's good too. 1 school to guard 1 catacombs. Maybe it'll be realized soon. Fong Ping muttered to himself. The unattainable dream of the past seemed very likely to come true now. June 10th, MCMAU held a fourth-year graduation ceremony. This year's fourth-year students could be said to be weak. Compared to the students from the other 3 years, they were indeed not strong. They could be said to be strong. There were more than 30 rank 4 and 5 students and hundreds of rank 3 students. This was more powerful than any other university. During the graduation ceremony, Li Chongsheng came out of closed-door cultivation and gave a speech on behalf of the university. As the president of the Martial Arts Society and the #1 powerhouse in rank 6, Fang Ping also went on stage to give a speech. After the graduation ceremony, most of the students went their separate ways. Some went to the military department, some went to other places, and some went to other departments and houses. After the graduation ceremony, Fang Ping also received the current strength statistics of MCMU's instructors and students. After the graduation of the fourth-year students, there were 975 new and old instructors in MCMAU. There were 5,230 students in 3 years. Among the instructors, there was 1 rank 9, 1 rank 8, for rank 7s, 62 rank SIXS, 345 rank 5s, 410 rank 4s, and 152 rank 3s. In the past, rank 3 instructors were the instructors who taught cultural studies. Just last year, rank 3 instructors took up half of the instructors' quota. This year, rank 3 instructors were the minority. Middle-ranked instructors were the mainstream of MCMAU today. Among the students, there was 1 rank 6, 1 rank 5, 220 rank 4s, 1260 rank 3s, 2550 rank 2s, and 1198 rank 1s. After the graduation of the fourth-year students, under the circumstances where rank 3 was the most respected in other schools, MCMAU had more than 1,000 rank 3 students. There was not a single aspiring martial artist in the entire university. Rank 1 was only a minority among them. This kind of data was enough to shock the entire country. Martial Arts Society, Office. Fang Ping looked at the data for a while and said softly, "There are more than 1,000 middle-ranked people. Wuhan military's 38,000 people. Don't tell me they are all middle-ranked martial artists?" Old Man Li shook his head and said, "How is that possible? Middle-ranked martial artists haven't reached the point where they can be found everywhere. The people in Wuhan military are generally older than you guys. Most of them are in their early 30s. Among them, 1/3 of the middle-ranked martial artists are dead at most. The ratio won't be higher than this. 10,000 middle-ranked people is already overestimating Wuhan military. That is to say, the direct combat troops that the Education Ministry has accumulated for so many years are less than 10 times stronger than MCMAU. If we add in the Grandmasters, excluding Minister Zhang, do they have as many as 60 Grandmasters?" Old Man Li thought for a while and said, "According to Minister Zhang, there are 38 commanders in Wuhan military. That means there are 38 high-rank martial artists. Including the general and deputy leaders of Wuhan military, there are probably 40 of them. Currently, the Education Ministry has 8 deputy ministers. The local education directors in Capital City and Magic City are also high-ranked. All in all, they are in their early 50s. Fang Ping heard that and laughed. If that's the case, the Education Ministry is indeed very strong. Even if we don't include the minister, they are still 10 times stronger than MCMAU. It seems that MCMAU still has a long way to go." Old Man Li glanced at him and could not help but laugh. What great ambition! After all, MCMU is only a school. Students left the school after they graduated. After all, not many of them stayed. Moreover, MCMAU was only one of the 99 martial arts universities under the jurisdiction of the Education Ministry. Did this kid want to build MCMAU into a second education ministry? One had to know that even someone like Zhang Tao, who was at the pinnacle, had spent 30 years to build such a team. In fact, it was not just 30 years. Zhang Tao's predecessor had also been accumulating strength. Fang Ping did not say much. After looking at the strength statistics for a while, he said, "There are more than 60 rank 6 instructors. I don't know how long it will take for Dean Luo to achieve Grandmaster." For the time being, try to supply the deans with resources like the divine fruit so that they can achieve mentality-vitality fusion as soon as possible. These deans have been training for many years and have broken through mentality-vitality fusion. The hurdle of materialization should not be as difficult as the young ones. Martial artists in places like Startown took a long time to break through mentality-vitality fusion to materialization. This was because they were too young, did not polish their martial arts enough, and consumed too many treasures. People like Qin Jinhua might not encounter this hurdle. If the 4-peak rank 6 martial artists could all achieve rank 7, then the number of grandmasters in MCMU would really reach 10. Old Man Li did not say anything. He could not be bothered with these things. Fong Ping did whatever he wanted. Fong Ping continued looking at the list. This time, he was looking at the list of students who performed well in the martial sciences examinations this year. There were too many people who participated in the examinations this year. Tens of millions of them. Fong Ping looked and said, "This year, MCMU will enroll 5,000 students. Let the number of students exceed 10,000. That many? Old Man Li was shocked. Beside him, Zhang Yu, who had been silent all this while, could not help but say, "Isn't 5,000 too many? A school with 10,000 students isn't considered too many. MCMU can still provide for them for now." As Fong Ping said that, he flipped to the last page of the list and said with some surprise, "There are so many martial artists in the martial sciences exam candidates this year." At this moment, the list he had received was a list of all the martial arts exam candidates in the country. More than 9,000 people. Fong Ping was really surprised. In previous years, each province had at most produced more than 10 martial arts exam candidates. It would be the most there could be 300 to 400 martial arts exam candidates in the country. This year, however, there were more than 9,000. Zhang Yu explained, "It's easier to cultivate now. Moreover, many of them are juniors and seniors in social sciences schools. These people's vitality wasn't weak back then. Now that a few years have passed, many of them have broken through and become martial artists. Also, since 2 months ago, the price of the vitality replenishing pill and the vitality replenishing pill has dropped greatly. It has dropped to 1,000 yuan per pill. Previously, a normal vitality pill was 100,000 yuan per pill. Now, the price has dropped a lot. The current market price is 60,000 yuan per pill. With such a big drop, more people are buying the pills. 60,000 yuan for a vitality pill is still acceptable for some exam candidates' families. The price has dropped so much." Fong Ping was slightly surprised. He had not paid much attention to this. Zhang Yu nodded. "It's dropped a lot, and it might continue to drop. Also, the e-commerce platform has officially started connecting all martial arts universities. Currently, we're only setting the price of vitality pills at 3 credits. The value of credits has also depreciated to 11,000 for 1 credit. It's cheaper for martial arts universities to buy vitality pills. It's only 30,000, which is actually just the cost price. I think after a period of operation, martial arts universities will soon enter the era of full martial artists." Fong Ping nodded slightly. Then he suddenly smiled. "MCMU wants half of the 9,000 martial artists. We don't want those who are too old. We'll take the best of the best. As for aspiring martial artists, this year, MCMU's standard is to only recruit twice-honed martial artists. This way, MCMU will enter the stage of full martial artists immediately. We won't have to waste a lot of resources to cultivate aspiring martial artists anymore." After saying that, Fong Ping flipped to the first page. He glanced at it, and his eyes lit up. This Zhang Shui and Zhang are both recruited to the university. Not bad at all. 18 years old. Rank for martial artists. With this kind of ability, they're actually participating in the Gaokao. This is beyond my expectations. I'm afraid it's rare to meet people like this. Everyone was paying attention to these 2 rank for martial artists. Zhang Yu glanced at Fong Ping and coughed softly. That MCMU actually contacted them before. They want to stay in capital cities' martial arts universities. Fong Ping glanced at him and smiled. Continue the communication. Tell them if they don't want to come to MCMEU, then don't go to martial arts universities. Why should they go to CCMEU? Abuse their power and bully the new students? In the whole of martial arts universities, only MCMEU has a large number of middle-ranked students to pressure them. How many does CCMEU have? These youngsters can't take it. Look down on them. Don't be afraid to say it too harshly. Old Manly glanced at Fong Ping and said impatiently, "Don't try anything funny. If you piss Minister Zhang off, he'll blow you to death." "That won't be necessary." Fong Ping smiled and continued reading. He nodded as he read, saying, "The quality of this batch of students isn't bad. Other than these two middle-ranked students, there are actually 2 rank 3 students. Their families also have minds. Otherwise, they wouldn't have broken through in martial arts so quickly. They've used life essence. Rank 2 students, there are actually more than 10 of them. Needless to say, they're all the descendants of top-notch powerhouses. Why are they gathering together this year? What's going on?" Old Manly said, "It should have something to do with the worsening situation in the past 2 years. In the past, many people were actually not in a hurry to cultivate their descendants. Now that they're in a hurry, they'll naturally gather together. Every family has a few descendants of a suitable age." No wonder, as Fong Ping spoke, he continued reading. After finishing the first page, Fong Ping was ready to stop reading. However, Zhang Yu coughed softly and said, Look at the second page." Fong Ping glanced at him, feeling a little strange. Then, he flipped to the second page. On the second page, the first name made Fong Ping's eyes widen. "Fong Yuan?" Fong Ping's expression changed again. He stood up abruptly and said angrily, "This be asterisk. How dare she participate in the martial sciences exam behind my back?" Old Manly sighed. When a child grows up, it's no longer up to his mother. When the younger generation's wings have hardened, they don't care about their elders anymore. These words were directed at Fong Ping. "That's right. I'm talking about you. Don't you like to go against people too? Isn't it normal for your sister to go against you?" Fong Ping was speechless. He took a step forward and said, "I'll go back first. Senior Zhang, regarding the recruitment, you guys decide. Then Fong Yuan, we'll talk about it later." Fong Ping replied and left the Martial Arts Society immediately. As soon as he left, Old Manly said with a smile, "Add another name. MCMEU Affiliated High Schools Li Hongyu. I thought that peak aspiring martial artist should be enough. This kid is really ruthless this year. He's already set it as a twice-honed aspiring martial artist." Zhang Yu smiled and did not say much. If Deanly wanted to enter through the back door, it would not be a problem. Chapter 563. Bay Gardens. The villa area. Fong Ping sat alone in the living room. Opposite him was Fong Yuan, and on one side were Fong Mingrong and his wife. Fong Yuan's little face was tense. She stole glances at Fong Ping from time to time, then looked at Fong Mingrong and his wife for help. Li Yueying saw her daughter's pitiful expression and said, "Ping Ping, your dad and I know that Fong Yuan is participating in the martial sciences exam." Fong Ping said helplessly, "Mom, if you know, why didn't you tell me?" Li Yueying glanced at her daughter. Fong Yuan's face was full of worry. She said softly, "You know, I told you." Fong Ping glared at her and said fiercely, "Didn't I tell you not to take the exam? I'm a martial artist now. So what if you're a martial artist?" Fong Ping looked dissatisfied. "You're at the top. I can beat you up whenever I want. I can beat you up whenever I want. You have to accept your fate. How do you talk back to me? Are you trying to turn the world upside down?" Fong Yuan felt wronged. "I told you I'm a martial artist. I didn't say anything. Why are you being so mean?" Fong Ping knocked on the coffee table and said, "Why do you want to enter a martial arts university? You don't lack resources. Your brother can afford it. Even if you want a divine weapon, I can give it to you." At this point, Fong Ping thought of the 2 descendants of the Zhang family. They did not lack resources either. Why did they want to take the Gaokao? Why did they want to come to a martial arts university? Fong Ping did not speak for a while. Zhang Tao had even sent his own offspring to a martial arts university. What was that for? He did not go to the military department because it was relatively more dangerous. He stayed at home. Zhang Tao probably did not want his descendants to become like those in Stellar Sky City, who only left home after reaching rank 6. He came to a martial arts university to broaden his horizons and participate in the catacombs battle step by step. A martial arts university was also the most suitable place for middle and low-ranked martial artists. They did not have to be like the martial artists in the military department who were stationed in the catacombs day and night. They also did not have to be like casual martial artists who might not be able to enter the catacombs for their entire lives, not knowing the truth and living in ignorance. Martial arts universities had a group of like-minded comrades and a group of students who worked hard together. Perhaps this was the kind of atmosphere they were looking for. He had always criticized Stellar Sky City martial artists, yet he wanted to train Fong Yuan into a martial artist like that. Humans are so complicated. Fong Ping did not speak again. After a while, he looked at Fong Yuan and said, "Come here." Fong Yuan quickly shook her head. "Come here." Fong Yuan reluctantly looked at Fong Mingrong and his wife with a pleading gaze. Both of them did not know whether to laugh or cry, and neither of them said a word. Seeing that, Fong Yuan had no choice but to drag her feet and sit beside Fong Ping. Fong Ping pinched her cheeks and said with a sigh, "I just hope that you'll always be happy and that you'll always be able to maintain a relaxed smile instead of a gloomy look." Everyone said that martial arts universities were good. Everyone said that martial artists were good, but who knew how many powerhouses did not want their loved ones to become martial artists? Back then, I knew nothing about martial arts and thought that since I had become a martial artist, my sister could also become a martial artist. One wrong thought led you onto the path of martial arts. You don't know how much regret I've felt in my heart. Perhaps I shouldn't have taken you on this path. But then he remembered that she was Fong Ping's family, Fong Ping's sister. In the past 2 years, your brother has offended many people. His hands are also stained with blood, and he has killed countless people. I had once hoped that my family could be under my protection, that they would no longer have to be stained with blood, that they would no longer have to face all of this. But now, Fong Ping's emotions were complicated. After a long while, he said, "In the end, I realized that I was the one at fault. From the day I became a martial artist, from the day I lured the evil sect martial artists to kill me, my family could no longer be as proud of me as they were in the past. They did not know that martial arts were bloody. Actually, I was only deceiving myself. Don't my parents worry about me? The fear of the unknown has probably made you unable to live in peace. Maybe I was really wrong." Fong Ping sighed. Fong Mingrong lit a cigarette and said nothing. Li Yueying's voice was slightly choked up as she said softly, Ping, let Yuan go to martial arts university. Yuan might not be able to help you much, but at least let your family know if you're still safe, if you're still alive." As Li Yueying spoke, tears suddenly streamed down her face. She choked and said, Ping, a few days ago, I saw someone send ashes back to the residents here. Dead. They don't even know how they died. My parents, wife, and son did not even get to see them one last time. They don't know where their son went. They only know that their son is dead. Your dad and I didn't have much of a future in our lives. What we're most proud of is raising you and your sister, especially you. You've made a name for yourself. Mom and Dad are happy to see that. But who knew? Who knew that martial arts training would be like this, so dangerous? Mom often hears people talking about this area. I didn't know that so many people die every year. Every family has people dying on the path of martial arts. Ping, I don't want that day to come, but I also know that I can't help you. I can only be a burden to you. Even if Yuan can't help you. She went to martial arts university, to MCMAU. At least I know that you're fine, that you're still in school. Sob, brother, let me go to MCMAU. I promise, I won't cause you trouble. The mother and daughter both started crying. Fong Ping felt helpless. He felt warm, but he also did not know whether to laugh or cry. Mom, don't cry, okay? Your son is fine. If you cry, others might not even know what's going on. Li Yueying wiped her eyes and restrained her emotions. Fong Ping was not as polite to Fang Yuan. He pulled her cheeks hard and scolded. Shut up. Why would a martial artist cry? Martial artists bleed, but not cry. In martial arts universities, martial artists who cry are useless. Since you said you won't embarrass me and hold me back, then you're not allowed to cry. Fang Yuan stopped sobbing immediately. Her eyes lit up, and she looked pleasantly surprised. Even though her cheeks were being pulled, she still mumbled, Brother, I can go to MCMU now. Fong Ping rubbed her cheeks for a while, as if he was kneading dough before letting her go. He sighed. You're determined to go to martial arts university. I stopped you once, so I don't want to stop you a second time. My only request is that you remember your brother is still here. Your brother is your sky. Others can't hold up this sky, but I will. Don't listen to others. Don't trust anyone. In this world, you only need to believe in me. Yes, yes, Fang Yuan nodded quickly. She smiled. Brother, I know. Don't worry. After saying that, she even flashed a silly smile. Fong Ping was helpless. How could he not worry if she was an idiot? Now that things had come to this, the girl's heart was unstable. If he did not let her go to martial arts university, she would not be at ease. What could he do? He could control her once, but could he control her forever? Su Haoran had been like this before. He was hesitant and helpless about Su Zis's participation in the competition. He wanted her to lose, but he did not want to see his granddaughter frowning. In this world, martial artists could be cruel to their enemies, but they could not be cruel to their own family. Chen Yaoding probably had a lot on his mind when he sent his granddaughter to martial arts university. Tang Feng probably had some hesitation when he sent his daughter to MCMU. It's hard being a parent. Fu Chanding's grandfather did not allow him to practice martial arts when he was young. In the end, when he grew up, his grandson went solo and went straight to MCMAU. Fine, I'll keep this girl in MCMAU. At least she'll be by my side. At least I know what she's doing. At least I know if she went to the catacombs or not. Fong Ping did not want his sister to go to other martial arts universities. He was worried. He could either not let Fang Yuan go to a martial arts university, or she could only come to MCMAU. At MCMAU, he could still take care of her. If she went to another martial arts university, who knew if she would be schemed against? If an instructor with a screw loose brought his sister to the catacombs without asking him, and something happened, Fong Ping would not be able to find the culprit even if he wanted to take revenge. Fong Ping had a deep understanding of this, because he had done such wicked things before. In the past, in order to raise funds, he had threatened a large number of powerhouses' descendants. If they did not pay up, he would send them to the catacombs. That would scare them to death. If someone else did the same thing to him one day, Fong Ping would be so angry that he would vomit blood. Take advantage of the holidays and cultivate hard. Strive to enter upper stage rank 1 or even peak rank 1 before school starts. Your talent is too low. You need to work harder. Things are different now. This year's Gaokao students are very strong. There are a few rank 4, a lot of rank 3, and countless rank 2. Fong Ping made up his mind and did not say anything else. He looked at Fang Yuan and sighed. In the past, I didn't want to hurt you too much, but now, I can only tell you the truth. There are too many geniuses in this world. You don't know because you don't know much. This year's new students have a lot of rank 3 and 4 martial artists at 18 years old. There are also many middle-rank martial artists at 18 years old who don't even come to martial arts universities. Do you think I'm good at rank 6? Let me tell you, this is nothing. In some places in Sino Nation, there are a lot of grandmasters below 30 years old. There are too many of them. So, if you really don't want to be a burden to me, you need to work hard. You've embarked on the path of martial arts. If you don't work hard, you might as well not practice martial arts at all. Fang Yuan was no longer a child who did not know anything. Now that she had reached rank 1, she knew how difficult it was to cultivate. Hearing Fong Ping's words, Fang Yuan was a little stunned. An 18-year-old middle-ranked? Yes. Now you understand how bad your talent is, don't you? Fang Yuan's face was instantly filled with dejection. She said with some grievance, But my teacher said, what do they know? I said, don't trust anyone. In this world, only my parents and I won't harm you. Do you understand? Fang Yuan nodded. She was a little dejected and disappointed. Am I really that bad? However, when she thought about how she was only rank 1 and how Fang Ping was only 2 years older than her and was already a rank 4, Fang Yuan suddenly felt extremely dejected. Fang Ping exhaled and pinched his forehead. He said, I won't say anything else. We'll talk about it when you get to school. You sigh. Fang Ping sighed. He could only take it one step at a time. He had to inform the school later that his sister was not allowed to step into the catacombs until she reached rank 4. Rank 4. Even if he gave his all, Fang Yuan would not be able to reach rank for in less than 2 years, right? Of course, if she was fast, a year or more would be enough. Chen Yunxi and the others, including Fu Changding and the rest, had achieved rank for in a year or more. Everyone was twice honed, so their speed should not be too different. After all, Fang Ping had the money to support them. By then, I should be rank 7 or 8, or even rank 9, right? Fang Ping calculated in his heart. If everything went smoothly, there was still hope for rank 9. Then, Fang Ping made up his mind. Mother asterisk Kerr, when the time comes, Magic City's catacombs will be flattened by me. I'll let you go to the catacombs, but there won't be any catacombs for you. Whichever catacombs you go to and flatten it, you're a rank 4. If you kill all the middle and high ranks, you won't die even if you want to. No one knew Fang Ping's lofty aspirations. Even if they heard it, they would probably take it as a joke. Even the Paragon did not dare to say such things. If Fang Ping's words were to spread, it would not be arrogance, but a lunatic. Mentality interruption accessory. Rank 9 armor, large amounts of life essence. I have to prepare all of them later. It would be best if it's a Paragon full-body armor. No matter how you fight, you won't be able to break it even if you're a high rank or below. Fang Ping thought about it, stroking his chin. He wondered if he should find an opportunity to get a bigger weapon for his sister to protect herself. For example, the word suppress in Star Town that day. Once that thing appeared, it could even suppress the cracks in space. It was extremely powerful. However, even a Paragon would not be able to get such an item so easily. Otherwise, if the people in Star Town had the word suppress, they would have killed Time Mu and the rest in seconds. Suppress. Star Town. Suppressing Heavenly King? Fang Ping suddenly made some connections. Could that thing be made by the Leaf family's elder ancestor? He wondered if Li Yiming and the rest had it later. If they did, he would have to be more careful this time. He did not know if he could bring these things into the Land of Kings. If it was possible, then he would have to be extra careful. Fang Ping stayed at home for a day, leaving his sister almost half a caddy of life essence and a large number of rank 9 energy stones. In terms of extravagance, he was even more extravagant than Star Town. After all, Star Town had to support a clan. He, Fang Ping, only had to support his sister. Could it be that he could not compare to those fellows? Was it not just energy stones and life essence? What was this? After returning from the Land of Kings this time, he should be rank 7. When that time came, he would find an opportunity to destroy Skygate City. If Skygate City ran away, then he would destroy Monster Sunflower City. He did not believe that he could not get something good. On the 11th of June, Fang Ping returned to school again. In the energy room, before Fang Ping could explain, Li Hansong said impatiently, Old Yao, Fang Ping intercepted our life essence before. He can turn it into our aura to help us cultivate and seal the Sanjiao Gate together. Help Fang Ping seal the mentality gate first. When you break through to rank 6, Fang Ping can help you seal the Sanjiao Gate quickly. Fang Ping really wanted to give Ironhead an award, the best support award. However, after thinking about it, this guy was sometimes silly and made him feel awkward. Forget it, he would keep this award. Yao Qingjun was much calmer than Li Hansong. He did not say anything. After thinking for a while, he said, I've already located the Sanjiao Gate. Why don't we break through to rank 6 first, then I'll cultivate with you. His mentality was strong. Actually, on the day his mentality materialized, he had already captured the location of the Sanjiao Gate. These days, he had already completely located it. Now, he could also break through. Hearing that he wanted to break through to rank 6, of course, Fong Ping had no objections. In the cultivation room, Yao Qingjuan's breakthrough speed was very fast. The Sanjiao Gate was materialized almost in the blink of an eye. The moment the life gate materialized, Yao Qingjuan's mentality suddenly surged violently. Fong Ping, who was waiting for him to break through, suddenly had a change of expression. His own mentality changed his aura instantly, becoming Yao Qingjuan's aura. Then, the two materialized mentalities started pushing the Sanjiao Gate that was similarly sealed. Fong Ping was sweating profusely. Yao Qingjuan's face was also flushed red. Both of them exerted all their might, madly pouring out their mentality. Taking advantage of the moment the life gate materialized, they pushed the life gate. Creak, the semi-illusionary life gate was like a Real gate. It was pushed until it trembled slightly, letting out a soft, inaudible sound of the gate opening. Boom! In the next moment, Fong Ping and Yao Qingjuan were flung out, slamming into the wall. Both of them spat out blood. Beside them, Li Hansong was at a loss. He asked hurriedly, "Are you all right?" "I'm fine." Fong Ping spat out blood, stood up and said, "I can't push it open." Old Wang was right. "I'm afraid we have to wait until all of your other Sanjiao gates are sealed before we can push it open." Fong Ping had just finished speaking when he suddenly paused, looking at Yao Qingjuan opposite him. At this moment, Yao Qingjuan was holding a long spear that was trembling nonstop in his hand. Yao Qingjuan's gaze was deep. He allowed the long spear to tremble, not saying a word. Li Hansong was shocked. This thing just flew out from the gate of life? Yes, Yao Qingjuan responded. Suddenly, he looked at Fong Ping and asked, "What rank is this divine weapon?" Fong Ping immediately walked forward and examined it. Then his expression changed for a while. He frowned slightly and said, "It's not a divine weapon." "It's not a divine weapon?" Yao Qingjuan was stunned. Then he mumbled, "It's not a divine weapon, but I think I can keep it in the Sanjiao Gate. If it's not a divine weapon, how can I keep it? Also, I can use mentality to control it." Fong Ping did not say anything. He held the long spear that was still trembling. After a while, he said, "It's not a divine weapon indeed. Divine weapons are usually forged from the demon clan's core and brain. When we use a divine weapon, we can actually sense some things. For example, what the divine weapon can transform into. For example, this rank 7 saber of mine is forged from the sawtooth elephant's core and brain. Once I unleash the power of a divine weapon, one slash can slash out a sawtooth elephant. This of yours, I don't sense a demon clan's aura." As Fong Ping said that, he immediately added, "Of course, it might be because my ability is too low and I can't sense it. But I feel that this long spear's power is not small. It shouldn't be weak." Li Hansong said matter-of-factly, "It definitely won't be weak. After all, we were both paragons in the past. The weapons used by paragons can't be too bad." As he said that, Li Hansong was a little excited. "Fong Ping, why don't you and old Yao help me try too? See if you can also fly out a weapon." Fong Ping shook his head. "Don't even think about it. Old Yao just now had just materialized. The materialization was a little loose in an instant. We joined forces and only managed to open a small gap. You probably can't do it." Although he said that, Fong Ping still joined forces with Yao Qingjuan to test it. The truth was as expected. It really could not. Li Hansong was not too disappointed. Instead, he looked at Yao Qingjuan with a burning gaze and said, "Old Yao, a powerhouse who uses a spear. In the celestial court, who uses a spear." Fong Ping coughed softly. "Don't blindly think about it. Most of the myths and legends nowadays are made up. I'm not talking about the current celestial court. All right, don't guess these things." Li Hansong scratched his head. "Are the myths and legends circulating nowadays different from our era?" "That's true. I don't think there are 108 heavenly generals anymore." Fong Ping was mentally exhausted. "God, shut up. I can't make it up anymore." However, Yao Qingjuan actually managed to get his hands on a weapon. This was still beyond Fong Ping's expectations. He knew that these people's life gates were sealed. He had also guessed that they might be hiding some treasures. He did not expect that the first thing that flew out was a weapon. If that was the case, when powerhouses died, their divine weapons would disappear. If they were revived, they might keep their divine weapons? Other than weapons, what else could be hidden inside the Sanjiao Gate? Storage rings? But could storage rings be stored inside the Sanjiao Gate?